Drumroll finishes, and the target is
and it comes on finals night, and it's a knockout.
Dirty Harrison! Van Velzen!
It's like an action replay because the last time went for it to see if the second dart was in, but there's no doubt about the third one being in. Well, there's skin savers, then there's that. Adam Gawlas.
Needs to go, and that's exactly what it does. Henry Coates finds the middle.
where he needs 3 perfect darts, but that is perfectly aligned for how Martin Thomas's darts go. What a finish.
Double 16. Oh, absolutely cracking there from Dave Wawrzewski.
It's very much a case of youth against experience here tonight as Group B gets underway at the Modus Super Series live on Pluto TV. Hello, very good evening. Welcome along to the action. The second session of the day is about to get underway, and we've got 3 stars of the development tour in action this evening. Charlie Manby, Adam Gawlas, and Henry Coates will be joined alongside the experience of David Wawrzewski and Martin Thomas. We've got the asset Paul Nicholson alongside us to talk through all of the action this evening. And you look at the dynamic, it is youth against experience, three real young stars of the game up against two men that just know all about this sport inside and out.
Well, this game is about age gaps sometimes, isn't it? We've spoken about how when we first started this project, we had Keaton Barry at the age of 18 up against someone over the age of 60 and Martin Adams. So why would we change things? We want to have different group dynamics. We're going to have that tonight with the youth and experience. And if we are being completely fair, it's probably the 3 younger players who will come in as favourites.
Well, this is the second session of the day. We saw Group C earlier on this afternoon. It was topped overnight by Ronan McDonough, winning 4 out of 5. Missed the chance to complete the card and win all 5 of his games. But it looked night and day in comparison to some of the stuff that he played in Group A. When he got going, there was some decent stuff in there.
I think what Ronan did today was he took advantage of a lot of the players really not coming to grips or getting to grips with the conditions because it was pretty sticky early in the session. He picked up a couple of early wins and then started to find a level that nobody else would match. Towards the end, he just flagged a little bit, so he's allowed the rest of the field to get in touch with him. As long as he gets a good start on Friday, he should be fine, but he's in a perilous situation. He's only 2 points ahead of plenty of people, so it will keep him on his toes overnight, that's for sure.
Well, this is how the table looks then going into Friday's action. As I say, he has a 2-point lead at the top of the table. 3 players on 6, though, in behind him. Darren Johnson, Kieran Tierney had the chance himself to move on to 8 points overnight, losing out to Darren Johnson. And Peter Wachuri on 6 points. It's a very interested spectator. So this is how the tournament bracket looks as we go into the first evening session of the week. Neil Duff comprehensively won Group A on Wednesday afternoon. He's got a couple of days off. We'll see him again on Saturday evening. Group C is what we watched early on this afternoon. And tonight, Group B gets underway with 3 real young stars in action in Henry Coates, Adam Gawlas and Charlie Manby. Whereas David Wawrzewski and Martin Thomas, they know exactly what it's like to get through to a Saturday here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Now, Adam Gawlas is the only debutant in action in this particular group. He had a big margin of lead in terms of the Group A. Let it slip in the end. Is tonight going to be all about reset mentality for him?
Well, the funny thing is, we think so, but he's not been in this situation before. If he'd won Group A, he would have said to himself, okay, I've done my job, I can have 2 days off and play on Saturday. However, he's not been through any disappointment here before, so after everything he's been through yesterday, coming back here, he might feel a bit strange. And strange he should feel, because he lost his last 3 games of the group. If he'd won any of those 3 games, he wouldn't even be playing tonight. But now, extra experience of playing the later session, it could come in handy if he can find the top 3 over the next couple of nights.
Dave Wawrzewski is a coach day by day in terms of his trade within the sport, but this is very much an individual discipline for him this evening.
Of course it is. This is not come here, help other people and see them thrive. This is you turn up, you take your backpack off, you get you all suited up and you figure out how to win yourself. As a darts coach and still as an active player, because there are such things here in the UK and worldwide, you say to your students, I'm going to give you the wealth of all of my experience and my knowledge. That's why you're here. But there's only one time where I won't do that. And that's when we play each other. If it's in a tournament locally, nationally, internationally, something like this, for instance, when a younger player comes up against Wawrzewski, he will say, right, I'm not a coach anymore, I'm a player. And tonight we should treat him as such.
Well, let's have a look at the odds then, see what the bookies think about proceedings this evening. Now, Adam Gawlas goes off favourite. He's 7-4 with the odds compiled. You can maybe understand that because he came close to winning Group A. But in terms of Charlie Manby at 21-10, could he be the value play? Because if he plays the way he has done in Group A, surely he gets a bit more joy here.
Yeah, I think he could be quite frustrated with the way things went in Group A, but I think he did really well in getting into the top 3 in the end, because Ronan McDonough was really starting to motor in his final 6 or 7 matches in the group. So Charlie's done a really good job of getting here. He'll have confidence from that, and it's not his first rodeo here. But the ceiling of performance, that's what we talk about with Charlie. If he turns up, people will struggle. His ability to start matches hot, that's brilliant. If he can start finishing games off with a little bit more creativity and flair and with positivity, I have no idea what is possible with this kid. He's got such a massive ceiling.
Should be an interesting night. It's 18+, Galway.org if you're going to have a flutter on the Super Season scene. Right, let's get into the crux of the action then, shall we? We're going to see Charlie Manby in action in our first game of the evening. He finished 3rd in Group B. In fact, it was a dogfight in the end for him. He didn't get into this particular position despite averaging in excess of 90 for the duration of the week. Earlier on this evening, I caught up with Champagne, who will be hoping that the rest of the week is going to be a little bit sparkling. Charlie, in terms of your Group A campaign, you must have been really pleased with your performances. Results maybe at times didn't quite match up.
Yeah, I think I were unlucky at times, but then I played well at the same time, so it's darts, isn't it? Really, it happens.
Is it one of them where you know your form's in a good place, you just kind of put, in terms of the table and the standings, that behind you?
Yeah, I think you've got to do it. It's a whole different group now, a different day. Just take it as a separate sort of tournament, really.
In terms of tonight, you look at the group in play, obviously yourself, Henry, Adam doing great stuff on the development tour. Then you got the likes of David and Martin put in there. How do you think the dynamic's going to be this evening?
Yeah, I think, well, we'll just have to see, won't we? But I know where my game's at, and, you know, there's 4 other good players in this group as well, so we'll just have to see what the darts says tonight.
In terms of this week, what would you say your key strength behind your game has been?
I think I've played solid all the way around. I've missed a few doubles here and there where the key moments could have changed games, but I've had a lot of tumpless finishes, so clinical at times when I needed to be as well.
Must be nice to have that in the locker when required, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's a good thing to have.
Well, I wish you all the very best, Charlie. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Top man. Appreciate that, pal.
Perfect. Thank you very
Go
much.
well tonight. Yeah, Charlie Manby in conversation with me earlier on this evening, ahead of a meeting with Henry Coates to kick off the evening session. And I don't want to be the negative one here, but I just get the sense the best game of the night potentially could be the first one we're about to see here, because these two are two really exciting young talents who are ready to burst at the seams of the sport. For Charlie Manby, 19 years of age, 7th in the Development Tour Order of Merit, was this man here, the 18-year-old from Matlock, Henry Coates. Semi-finals the last time he was here, and he took this place by storm. He's somebody that's guaranteed to be a star of the future. Well, these two, well, they could be at some point in their career contesting games on the biggest stages that we could possibly have. That man, Paul Hinks, there has refereed on some of the biggest stages there is to be had. We could look back potentially, and I don't want to heap a load of pressure on these two lads, not at all, but we could look back at this fixture maybe in 10, 15 years' time and think the first time we saw these two play in front of cameras was here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
60.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. It's exciting. Their accumulative age is 37.
82.
That's really good to see. And the only reason we're seeing them here right now, right here,
93.
is because of the hard work of the people that have guided them through darts over the last decade, we could say, since they were kids.
140.
We have seen the name Henry Coates
99.
on stat sheets, in darts magazines, in articles for years. But when you reach the age of 18, there are
99.
more and more opportunities afoot. And he can do whatever he wants. He's got great backing.
95.
He's got great talent. And he's going to get opportunities to thrive. It's just a question of how he takes them.
As for Charlie Manby, so far this week
140.
we've seen real
America,
signs of his
154.
class and quality, even if results haven't quite gone his way. And I think that's why his interview, I think, gave a
54.
fair bit away in
Charlie
terms of his
O'Carr,
mindset, his
40.
mentality. Yes, he was a little bit upset that he wasn't able to pick up the results he would have
He's on the
wanted to.
first leg,
But
Charlie
he knew he was
Manby.
happy enough in terms of performance. He'll be happy enough with that as a start. 13
leg, Charlie to
data
throw first.
for the break of throw in leg 1. And if Group C
Game
earlier
on.
on this afternoon was a little bit tentative in terms of pace to get started, this group is the absolute antithesis.
137.
Here we go.
180.
Permission to rub my hands, if you please. Oh, yeah. This game really could be anything.
119.
You know, you were saying this could be the best game of the group, and you don't really want to have the best game in the first game, but it's also the last game of tomorrow.
93.
I just wonder where we're going to stand when that comes.
Well, both of these will be hoping it's a dead rubber because they're both through by that particular point. Now, if you have a look
58.
at the Dev Tour order of merit, in this particular group, we have got 3 of the top 13 players in that particular order of merit. Charlie Manby is 7th,
96.
having amassed £5,250 to his ranking. And Gawlas is 12th with £4,375 to his name, whereas Henry Coates is in 13th place,
137. Henry
£4,025 in that particular order of merit. Coates looking at 132 to level up at 1 apiece, not to be. Manby left himself on a
104.
double after
Charlie
12.
O'Carr, 50.
Should leave himself on a double after 13.
Game shown the second leg.
There is
Charlie
nothing wrong
Manby.
with this. This is right up there.
Third leg Henry to
Scary
throw
thing
first.
is,
Game on.
in this format, he's actually got another level. You stick these young stars up against each other,
180.
it'll feel like a practice match. They can do this all day long against each other.
60.
Do you know what it is, Henry? When it comes to the next generation of the sport, there have been times over the last 20 odd years
57.
I've looked back and I've thought, is there enough depth to take us forward when my generation decide not to play anymore? And since COVID,
140.
we've all said there is. We are very excited about the next generation.
140.
Or should we say, the now generation.
Coates 2-0 down, coming back with a superb riposte, leaving 1-2-4 after just 9 darts.
58. Henry O'Carr, 124.
Both players here averaging way in excess of a ton. Coates 104.25, Manby 105 on the nose.
56.
Henry Coates played at the Winmore World Masters Boys Tournament, aged 11. 11. What were you doing when you were 11?
180. Henry O'Carr, 68.
Double 4.
Game
That
shown the
is
third
brilliant.
leg, Henry Coates.
A great response from that young man.
Fourth leg Charlie.
You
to
mentioned
through
that
first.
amount of money
Game
that
on.
they've got. And Gawlas is a little bit more advanced. He's 23, but under the age of 20, I didn't even know what £4,000 looked like.
97.
At 19 years of age, I was earning £100 a week. To put that by way of comparison.
140.
Yeah, just before I turned 18, which is what Henry is.
57.
Henry Coates, that is. I was earning £40 a week as a trainee in the retail
57.
industry. Things are a little different if you can throw a dart in this day and age. That's what's different now. This was the dream
60.
of the Junior Darts Corporation when they started with Darren Barson and Steve Brown. Allow me to tip my hat to those fellas and everybody
28.
involved with all of the academies, because they took the chance on these kids when they were very young, and they are the ones who put in the volunteer
96.
hours to give these kids the chance to play eventually at this level. So, Jamie and Debbie Caven,
180.
you're responsible for that 180, which is simply ridiculous.
This is a real glimpse into the future. And if this is the future, then we have got every single right to be
50.
ultra excited.
Henry Carr, 96.
Coates looking at 96 to turn a 2-0 deficit into a level game. That was kind of the story this afternoon, wasn't it?
56. Charlie Carr, 141.
It certainly was. Big finishes were the story of Charlie Manby's Group A. He didn't quite get enough of them, though.
91. Henry Carr, 40.
Oh, my
20.
word.
Charlie Carr, 50.
The only bad dart he's thrown there was dart 3. Just didn't quite let it fly enough to use the previous two as markers, and he might pay the price for it.
Getting
And
shown
has.
fourth leg, Charlie Manby.
The doubling from Manby has been perfect.
Fifth leg Henry to throw first.
Well, that
Game
was a
on.
pinch, and Charlie Manby will know all about that. He leads 3-1. Coates throwing to stay in this contest. Well, I tell you what, if we get 10
140.
games like this tonight, we are going to be in for an absorbing session, an all-time session here. Still to come in this group.
100.
We'll see Martin Thomas. Really looking forward to seeing Martin back. David Wawrzewski and Adam Gawlas
96.
will be with us into the late night hour.
$140.
Coates did everything that he needed to do
57.
to get back to 2-2, apart from hitting that one shot at tops. He had 3 darts for it,
91.
and that could well be the difference between these two young stars. Everything is just so
103.
natural.
Charlie Carr, 170.
It's great to watch.
Well, the 170 is going to go, so Coates will have an
60.
opportunity
Henry
to
Carr, 105.
keep this game going. 105 to bring it back to 3-2 and force Manby to serve it out. He's not going to get a dart, and so Champagne Charlie's going to have a look
42.
at 110 to win
Charlie
it.
Carr, 110.
Well, that was a little bit different. He was going treble 20 for double 13. We know where this is going. Right
Being shown
there.
the match, Charlie Manby.
What a performance from Charlie Manby. We are by the coast, and he's just got himself a 99 with 4 out of 4 on the doubles. That felt likely when he left himself a match dart. That was simply sublime. The average was exactly 99. He got himself pretty much everything he needed to get. But that third leg was crucial for that 4-1 victory for Manby.
Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius? Yeah. Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. 25 The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor.
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler! Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. What a start we've had to the night's action here in Group B. Before the break, Charlie Manby with an average of 99 on the nose, 4 from 4 in his doubles, got the better of Henry Coates 4-1, who himself averaged just under 92, missed 4 darts and a double, despite having 3 maximums in there. Winning legs in that match of 13-14, the odd scrappy 120 and 15 for Manby. Henry Coates of his leg 1 in 15 darts. Next up for us, Adam Gawlas is in action. He missed out on the opportunity to win Group A on Wednesday afternoon. Pipped to the post by Neil Duff. He takes on Dave Wawrzewski. First things first, he's adorning the glasses for the first time on the big stage. Taking on the man from Navzi in Czechia, Adam Gawlas, 23 years of age. The boy from the small town looking to do them proud. And if he makes it through to Champions Week, he'll be the first player from his country to play at a Champions Week at the Super Series. It means that Czechia would be country number 16 to be represented at a Modus Super Series Champions Week. It's Wawrzewski and it is Gawlas to get the second match of the night underway. Paul Nicholson is alongside myself, Henry Deacon, in the commentary box to talk all about it. And I suppose as far as Adam Gawlas is concerned, it's all about reset mentality when you consider not just did he miss out on Group A, but it was the fact that he missed out on a Group A which, with a couple of rounds to go, he pretty much had in the ledger.
And it just goes to show, doesn't it? It's not your group unless you finish the job. We've seen it a few times before. You can be in position, but if somebody is there to take you out, and they do, you run the risk of not winning. And we did say well outside the last round of Group A. If it comes down to that final match where it's Duff versus Gawlas,
25.
Who do you fancy? And most people said Duff because of experience here. He's done it 5 times now, winning Group A. 5 times. And he'd like us to say 5 times on Saturday night, wouldn't he?
And I'm sure the first person Neil Duff will send a text message to is a certain Steve West. And I'm
78.
sure it will be a very interesting conversation between the pair. And I'm sure if Steve's watching, I'm probably going to get a text message back.
60.
But David, somebody who's got a very good record in this particular building, has played it 8 times, made it through to 5 finals nights in those appearances here. He's become a regular in terms of making it into the Saturday night fold, regardless of where he's pitted, whether it be a Group A situation, whether it be in a situation
42.
like this in a Group B, just playing the couple of days. He's got a formula of finding a way through. Sometimes he's not at his sparkling best, but he can claw results
94.
out, find a way of getting the job done, and that is what he'll hope to do over the course of the next couple of nights.
You said on Tuesday, or it might have been Monday afternoon, that 24, 26 points was going to win Group A. It turned out it wasn't.
59.
It was less than that. It was tighter than we thought.
60.
I have a sneaky suspicion that someone's going to get 14 points in this group. That's essentially 7 wins out of 8.
$59.
Notice that Dave is using
121.
slightly sharper, smaller flights
Out of
this
the car,
time as well.
123.
We'll have to monitor how they go.
I just wonder whether that's to compensate the fact that he's wearing glasses as well, because the flights we'd used before probably would have caught the glasses, possibly. But he's going to get a chance to take this first leg out.
Yeah, you might be onto something there.
62. David Carr, 56.
Tops with 1.
Getting shown the
Well,
first leg.
apparently,
David
he only
Wawrzewski.
needs 1. I'll guarantee you one thing. He wasn't looking for
Second
2
leg, Adam
single
to
eights.
first. Game
He
on.
was looking for dart 3, and he found it.
$30. $81.
Just want to run through those last 3 results in Group A as well. Well, first and foremost, Gawlas did beat Peter Wachuri for a 3rd time on Wednesday. At that point, he's thinking, this is my group. I'm in firm control. And then, when he beats Ivan Springborg Poulsen by
100.
4 legs to 1, you think, he's not going to get caught. But this is where it went wrong. And this is where a fixture
100.
tonight will be very interesting, because when he lost to Charlie Manby in game 9 yesterday, he lost by 4 legs to 1, but averaged 98. Manby, 105. At that point, you just got to hold your hands up and say, right, I got beaten by the better player. I'll just have to win the next game. But Ronan McDonough had other ideas.
96.
He beat Gawlas 4-2. And it was then that Gawlas was on the back foot. He needed to beat Neil Duff in the final game,
140.
and he couldn't do so in an 82 average match. That wasn't about quality that game. It was about determination and guts. And Neil Duff just had a little bit more at that stage. That's why he's playing today. That's why Neil Duff isn't.
And who knows where Neil Duff is right now? Somewhere in
41.
Portsmouth, presumably.
Is that your way of saying that Neil Duff is the summer elf on the shelf? Where is he
60.
and what's he doing? Let's have our own game of Where's Neil?
Well, slowly but surely, Wawrzewski could be working towards a 2-0 lead here.
140.
That 140
David Carr,
has left
120.
Gawlas on a 2-darter to save his throw, but is he even going to get a look at the 94? No, Wawrzewski couldn't find the trouble that he needed with either the
60.
first 2 darts.
David
and
Carr,
so
94.
Gawlas 94 to square up at 1 apiece. If he doesn't get it, Wawrzewski's on a single to double.
He could go bull again if he wants. But he did the right thing, going for the treble 14. It hasn't paid off.
38.
Are we about to see somebody
David
else go
Carr,
2-0 up?
20.
He just didn't
David
worry
Carr,
that tops
56.
enough. That third dart needed to be the perfect one in the middle of the 2.
So for Gawlas, this is an opportunity to get back level as he looks at double top. Well, he's got a beautiful guide. But he's
36.
unable to utilise it.
David
And
Carr,
so Wawrzewski
40.
gets a third bite of this particular target.
Double 10.
Getting shot on the second leg. David Wawrzewski.
That will make him feel very, very happy. He had his opportunity this time and he takes
Third
it.
leg, David is through first. Game on.
An early break for the man from the southeast of England. And he's placing Gawlas a little bit on the back foot here. But
98.
it's the Englishman's responsibility to keep him there. At no point, even at 3-0 up this week, has anybody looked comfortable.
Now then, Nico, it's Thursday night and, well, we're all here together, aren't we, as one?
100.
So I think it's time for tonight's tungsten teaser. You've been waiting all week for this.
Okay.
60.
Now, I've actually inquired some help for this particular tungsten teaser. And I do want to give a shout out to one of our friends down in production, a certain little Taylor Nella, who we've worked together on this particular teaser with. There's been 17 9-darters here at the Modus Super Series. I don't
100.
want to know who hit them. I want you to tell me the players that have had 9-darters hit against them. It's at MSS
85.
Darts on our social media handles. Tonight's tungsten teaser. Can you name the players who had 9-darters hit against them here at the Modus Super Series? 17 to get, and if you get all 17, you will get a prize. The prize, a well done from me.
140.
It's got your brain rattled a bit, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
I can name a few. Do you want me to? Or do you want me to save it?
100. David Carr,
Well,
161.
we'll save it to when we get to the midnight hour when we were getting all philosophical.
Okie doke. Sounds good to me.
Well, Gawlas ain't going to find the 161. Can Wawrzewski find a moment of magic to open up a
65.
3-0 lead?
David Carr, 158.
Well, even if he gets this down to a double, he might be the favourite for the leg. But he doesn't get that second treble.
82. David Carr, 96.
He's in a slightly better position, Gawlas. Numerically, anyway. That is a tremendous shot. Double 18.
$78.
What a chance this
David
is for
Carr,
Wazzy.
76.
3-0, flashing before his eyes. Tops.
Getting shot on the third leg. David
Right on
Wawrzewski.
cue.
At what point, and I know it's still
Fourth
the
leg,
first
Adam
game
to
of the
third
night,
first.
but at
Game
what
on.
point do we begin to fear that the alarm bells are beginning to ring in the mind of Adam Gawlas?
Yeah, if he loses this game, it's 4 in a row, isn't it?
And 4 in a row, with the greatest respect to the world, we know what he can do in terms of numbers without playing anywhere near to his scratch standard.
93.
Well, just going back on what you were saying about reset mentality, yes, it is true that that is the right way to go.
95.
But the experience of Wazzy, he'll understand that when someone is slightly down, you keep them down. How is it the phrase goes? Don't kick a man when he's down. Well, that doesn't actually translate to sport. Because when you see a man down in darts, you kick them. Not literally.
Well, is Adam
58.
Gawlas just beginning to kick himself? Is he just beginning to motor in this match, Adam Gawlas?
We did have a chat with Adam the last couple of days. And he's played Richie Burnett at the World Championship. His sole win at the Worlds. And he did reference the fact that he didn't get kicked by Richie Burnett much. And that will be making its way to the Pluto TV network very soon, that chat.
Potential 11 darter hit. Much more like it. Well, at the beginning of the leg, we said there could be some cause of concern for Adam Gawlas.
$32.
He's unable to finish that leg off in 4 visits, but he has got the luxury of getting it done in 5. Be for a regulatory holder throw, but it will keep him in the contest. It will force Wawrzewski to serve it out. And that 140 just taps the check on the shoulder, and it could be checkmate if he doesn't find this.
Getting shot on the
That's a lovely dart.
Adam Gawlas.
Keeps himself in this game. This can be turned around.
Fifth leg, David is
But
through
he
first.
does have
Game on.
2 opportunities to serve it out. He'd like to get it done sooner rather than later.
140.
Everybody wants to start with a maximum, but 140 really is very close to ideal. Especially when Gawlas has had 2 maximums in the previous leg.
$59.
And the production team here at the Modus Super Series have been very smart today because it's been very warm in Portsmouth this week.
140.
Trying to look after player welfare here tonight. All of the studio set was shut down before tonight's session to make sure that this place was as less heat-filled as it has been in previous times. But it's still warm.
119.
Tell you what else is rather warm, and it's not was he on fire, it's the fact that he started with 2 140s in this leg.
60.
It's perhaps appropriate on the hottest week of the year so far that we have Was He On Fire here in the live lounge. Be a bit weird having him in the first week of January when it's -2.
He's good to have around if he's on fire. Keeps us warm.
100. David Dakar, 161.
And just
100.
like a £15 Argos fan, Gawlas cannot keep up with the heat of Wazzy. He leaves 61 after 12 to get this game won, to get this job done by 4 legs to 1, and to get his campaign off to a winning start. He, to me, was always the one that we should look out for in this group, and his odds, they felt a little bit generous for him. He's somebody of immense ability.
29.
Somebody who's proven time after time, and he almost got the job done there.
The most important word in that sentence was almost. That's a bad dart from Adam. He doesn't even get a shot at the bullseye.
36. David Dakar, 32.
He's missed his chance. Does Wazzy.
Getting shot in the match. David
Takes it
Wawrzewski.
eventually, and he gets his campaign up and running with a 4-1 win. David Wawrzewski, a man who seemingly qualifies more often than not for a Saturday night, is off to a winning start. He gets the better of Adam Gawlas by 4 legs to 1. That's the tail of the tape. Wawrzewski off to a winning start. Next up, Martin Thomas gets his campaign underway against Henry Coates.
$54. Charlie McGuire, 164. $44. $32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls of this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's the moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
Yoki with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
118.
bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go
Couldn't get the job
Got
done.
in the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife!
Welcome back to the live lounge here in Portsmouth for the Modus Super Series. 2 games down on this Thursday night. And before the break, David Wawrzewski got the better of Adam Gawlas by 4 legs to 1. Match number 3 is a meeting between Henry Coates and Martin Thomas. Great to see Martin back here, an ever-present and an ever-popular character here at the live lounge in Portsmouth. The 52-year-old from Wales, a 4-time weekly finalist in this particular competition, up against the 18-year-old from Matlock. Henry Coates, already seen him once tonight, played well against Charlie Manby, missed key doubles at crucial times, lost out 4-1 to Champagne, who averaged just under a ton to get the better of him. But Martin Thomas has done something that nobody else has ever done here at the Super Series, and that is walk out of an interview with me.
First leg,
There is a
Martin
story.
first.
And it's a very funny story, because Martin's such a lovely guy, such a lovely chap.
What did you ask him?
I didn't ask him anything. So the interview's come to a close. It was on the old balcony. And I've got, Martin, thank you very much, whatever. And obviously I've turned to the camera to then throw to the next match. He's just walked off
100.
set. He's just walked off set. And he's gone, oh, sorry, was I not meant to stay here? I've gone, yes. Oh, it's all right. See you later, Mush. It's one of my
41.
funniest moments we've ever had here at the Super Series. And every single time Martin's here, me and him always do have a nice little laugh and a chuckle about it. He's one of life's real good guys.
125.
Martin C. Thomas. And Henry Coates will probably know his boy Keenan quite well because
30.
he's having a very good season on the development tour.
There are a lot
90.
of second-generation dart players on the development tour. A lot. So by virtue of that, kids know parents of other players.
96.
It's a very large family, is this sport. Coates is probably going to come into this game as a slight favourite
56.
based on the form that we have on him. And he didn't play poorly in his first game tonight, but Charlie Manby turned up.
83. Henry Carr, 130.
You can still find this 60.
94.
But he opens
Martin
the door for
Carr,
a chop
117.
at 117. Tops.
77.
Ooh, that one came out a
Henry
bit
Carr,
sideways, I think.
36.
Double 9.
18. Matthew Carr, 40.
He's got every right to feel frustrated there. He might be letting this leg go.
And he's one of those players, Martin Thomas, you
He's
can't
on
give
the
second
first leg,
opportunities
Martin
to.
Thomas.
He pins the tops, he takes a 1-0 lead.
Second leg
And for
ended
Henry
the
Coates,
first,
this is where
game
playing
on.
first and third could be a disadvantage if you lose your first two matches because you're already a game in front of everybody else and you'll see pretty much everyone in
100.
the table leapfrog you come the halfway point of the night when you can next do something about it.
I've got to give
95.
Martin credit, you know, because coming to Portsmouth from where he lives is not a simple journey. If anybody's ever been to West Wales, so you're not in
95.
the south, you're not in the north, you've actually got to go to, well, very close to a town called Aberystwyth to get to where Martin Thomas is from.
44.
If anybody's gone there from the south of England, it's a bit of a long journey. Not many main
99.
roads or motorways north of places like Bridgend and Llanelli and Cardiff. So when you get north of that,
58.
you're in the mountains. But by the time you get to places like Pembrokeshire and Aberystwyth,
91.
my word, it is just absolutely stunning.
And how many players we had from that part of the world that, particularly at the top level, you'd say if they lived in different parts of the country,
116.
relocate, but because of where they live is so stunning, they wouldn't even contemplate to entertain the idea, and you can understand why. More than
23.
understand why.
Every dart player that I've ever met from Pembrokeshire still lives there. Not one
58.
of them has moved.
Henry Carr, 93.
And I asked Johnny Clayton this once. He said, well, why would we move?
53. Matthew Carr, 152.
I have absolutely no response to that. Because he's right.
Well, what's beginning to become apparent in this game is Martin Thomas is just getting outscored a little bit. And if he's going to win this game, it may
96.
be a case
Henry
he's going to
Carr,
have to
40.
rely on his opponent missing opportunities. Henry Coates has got 3 darts at tops here to level up at 1 apiece, having missed 3 darts to win the first leg of this match.
Game shown the second leg. Henry
Finds with the
Coates.
last dart in hand. And level we are at 1-1.
Third leg, Martin to throw first. Game on.
Didn't Martin used to use the same
56.
barrel as Carl Wilkinson? Well, he doesn't anymore. He's got a newer set.
57.
He's also a bit of an old school dart player because he's got a gold bracelet on, but it's not on the throwing arm.
60.
That used to be like a uniform for top level players. They'd either have a sovereign ring or a gold bracelet or a gold chain.
58.
You're not going to see that with some of the younger guys coming through. See that? A little bit of bling. Nothing wrong with that. You know what these young
45.
bucks are about? It's all about the shoes.
$100.
Well, that's as close as you're going to get to bling with Martin Thomas.
60.
Somebody that just gets up, gets on with the job. See the Welsh flag adorned on his shirt. You'll also see the names of his 3 boys on the left sleeve of his shirt as well. Very, very proud dad is Martin.
140. Enrique 106.
Real family man. As for Henry, 106 to open up a 2-1 lead and importantly get a break of throw. He's going to get a dart at double 16. He's unable to get. And again, it's one of these opportunities for Martin Thomas to take the lead in the match. He's unable to take the 140. Looking for a treble to leave tops.
60. Henry Carr 32.
I think you're right, Henry. Coates could be in front because he's got superior scoring.
No score.
But he might be
80.
behind because he keeps missing the outer ring. That's 1 from 10 now.
Well, this is kind of playing a reprise
He's
on the
on the third
opening
leg,
leg of the
Martin
contest
Thomas.
where Coates missed 3 at a double and Martin Thomas picked the pieces up.
Fourth leg Henry
And that's
to through
exactly what's
first.
happened
Game
here.
on.
He leads 2-1, does the Welshman, in a game where he could have so easily have trailed 3-0.
43.
Well, you mentioned Henry Coates in the development tour, shall I say, this year. 13th in that particular order of merit. Him and Charlie Manby will probably be looking upwards of the table. They can have a good end to the season in 2025. Tour cards automatically could come their way now.
140.
Beaugreaves probably will wrap up the first of the tour card spots just because of the traffic around her. Now,
96.
Owen Bates is third in that order of merit, but because as things stand, he's due to drop off
100.
tour, would get the second bite of the cherry through that. Now, he's being aided and abetted by his good pal.
58.
But actually, below that, it's number 6 in the order of merit that would get the next jump if Owen Bates was to keep his
41.
card come the end of the year. And in terms of actually that order of merit, Charlie Manby's only 450 quid off.
That can be bridged in a day.
93.
Actually, there is incentive because Beaugreaves should get her position through the Women's Series Order of Merit. So that actually would mean Cam Crabtree would be at the Grand Slam this year.
100.
Is that wishful thinking, Henry? My friend Cameron.
59. Martin Carr 120.
120 for Thomas. Now that's a perfect first dart for him, just to nestle one over the top, unable to do so.
100. Henry Carr 152.
Well, this will be a skin saver. It's been a bit of a weird game for Coates.
95.
He's played some
Martin
good
Carr,
darts,
20.
but those misses at double have cost him massively.
2 10s, a 3-1. How he's in this position, I mean this with the greatest respect. How he's in this position, I have got no idea.
He's trying to figure out the best angle for this double 10.
10.
He didn't find it.
Henry Carr 57.
So it's going to be another leg where someone gets comprehensively outscored, see their opponent miss a visit's worth of doubles and then get
17.
punished. Well,
Martin
Coates
Carr,
couldn't find
10.
tops, and Thomas is looking for 5s.
Game show on the fourth leg, Martin Thomas.
Well, it's not quite Thomas the tank engine so far, but it's full steam ahead for Martin Thomas. He leads
Fifth leg,
3-1.
Martin to through first. Game on.
Isn't there another train in that show called Henry?
Yes, I spent the whole of my primary school life being called that, amongst other things.
Does it have
60.
another nickname, that train? I just know that there's a Henry the train.
Was Henry the green train?
It's either the green or the red one.
100 on it.
That's all red. It was the green one, wasn't it?
140.
Which probably makes sense as to why green was my favourite colour as a child.
Who are you envious of? Green is the colour of envy, isn't it?
I believe it is, yes.
What are the other names of the trains? This is a bit of a diversion, isn't it?
Which is ironic.
Welcome to Late Night Super
140.
Series Darts, brought to you by a certain kids program that followed trains around.
78. Matthew Carr,
Right, let's
161.
delve away from this for a moment because Thomas could win the game here. He's not going to find the 161.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow when Devin Peterson's here.
90.
He was all aboard
Henry Carr,
the 9 dart train a few
124.
years ago. Coates needs this, needs the bull. It's another
93.
missed double.
Matthew Carr, 71.
And that's 12 of them now, which could be fatal.
So 71 points away. Martin Thomas from a 4-1 win. He's found the treble 13, which gives him 2 in hand, a double 16. But it's not
55.
full turbo for Thomas just
Henry Carr,
yet.
31.
And Henry's hanging on the coattails. And he's going to get 2 in hand, a double 8 to save the contest. Now double 4. Cannot get
23.
great as the wire, and that
Matthew
should be
Carr,
that.
16.
Yes, it really should be. This might be a bit of mercy from Thomas.
Getting shown
Because he
in the
puts
match,
Henry
Martin
Coates
Thomas.
out of his misery. No prizes for guessing what went wrong in that game. Thomas did his job. He was constantly waiting in the station, ready for Henry to be slightly late to the party. He was at the party with the right scoring, but the doubles let him down, and he loses by 4-1 to Martin Thomas.
Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius? Yes. Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Lidlow! Welcome back to Pluto TV and to the Modus Super Series. 3 games played and 3 4-1 scorelines. And before the break, Martin Thomas inflicted a second 4-1 defeat to the night to Henry Coates. Henry missing 14 darts and a double in that particular contest. Now we're into game 4 of the evening. It's a meeting between Charlie Manby and David Wawrzewski. The winner of this one will move on to 4 points in the group.
First Charlie to throw first.
And would
Game
strike
on.
an early pose in proceedings in this particular Group B. It's Manby to get us underway, and he put in the performance of the night so far. He was very quick out the gate.
100.
A 99 average and a 4-1 win over Coates, including winning legs of 13, 14 and 15. He was perfect on his
100.
doubles. 4 hits out of 4 attempts, and he finished things off with a 110 checkout. He has really set his stall, and really there's no surprise at those levels of performances
100.
when you consider what he did in Group A.
Yeah, not a surprise at all. It's nice to see him put in a big 90-plus average
140.
in his first game with great doubling, like you say, Henry. But the exact opposite of that has befallen Henry Coates, who is only
55.
10% on his doubles for his first couple of matches, which is never going to be good enough. But time to recover when we get into the second half.
41.
After the next couple of matches. I don't know why it is, but Charlie looks more comfortable this evening than he looks
96.
playing in the morning of the first 3 days of the week. Some people are night owls, some people are very early birds. I get the
41.
feeling he's a bit of a night
Charlie
owl.
O'Carr, 150.
Perhaps no surprise somebody 19 years of age does not like early mornings. Does he like a 150? Double 18.
Being shown the
Well,
first
that's
leg,
5
Charlie
hits
Manby.
from 5 on the doubles, and that's a second ton-plus checkout of the night for Charlie
Second leg,
Manby.
David to throw first.
Champagne by
Game
name
on.
and champagne darts by nature.
26.
Lad's got skills. Sometimes all he can do is sit back in the chair and say, yeah, he's watchable. Very, very watchable.
140.
Now, it's easy for us to sit here and say that all of the young stars have got a bit of something about them, but
125.
some of them are just a little bit more special than others. And this lad's got it.
180.
I hate to say I told you so.
He just stands out a little bit more than most, doesn't he, Charlie Manby? And it's not as if he
85.
does anything to stand out more. There's nothing in terms of character that makes you want to, or makes him look as if he stands out. He just lets the darts do the talking. But his ability is,
46.
quite simply put, ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a no-nonsense dart player. Doesn't show a massive amount of emotion that we know of yet.
133. Charlie
But there's
O'Carr,
plenty of evidence about his
135.
talent. Fancy another? Bull. There's
Being
another
shot
one.
on the second leg. Charlie Manby.
He's on fire.
Third leg,
6
Charlie to
darts
throw
and a
first.
double.
Game on.
6 doubles hit. That's a third ton-plus checkout. Charlie Manby has only played tonight 7 legs of darts. And he's winning
97.
legs this evening. In his first game, 13-14. Bit of a scruffy one for 20 darter. 15-15-12. Forget about elite of the Super Series. This is world class altogether, as David Wawrzewski is just struggling a little bit with the glasses in the heat, perhaps. Well, the darts of Charlie Manby are that good, it's made David cry.
Maybe feeling a bit dizzy. I wouldn't blame him.
60.
All these young dart players seem to have one thing in common, though. They all go to the barber and ask for the same thing. Just get rid of the sides and the back.
45.
Leave the top. They just don't like anything near their ears or their neck, but they like all fringe.
41.
See, I feel like I'm one of a dying breed with the old short back and sides for a haircut. Can't be a good short back and sides.
45.
Well, he's in full control of this game. Dave Wawrzewski is powerless in response.
99.
He's not putting a foot wrong. Every now and again, somebody comes along. And as far as darts is concerned, they just float your boat.
85. Charlie Car 120.
You expect this to go.
Well, they didn't have to.
60.
You can get it next time. I remember specifically the last time I watched a player
140.
in a Group
Car
B
60.
and was this excited. His name is Nico Springer.
Game shot on the third
This
leg.
is
Charlie
getting
Manby.
ridiculous. He may never miss a double ever again.
Fourth leg David to throw first.
I
Game
genuinely
on.
cannot remember a run of this on the doubles. And I tell you what, you could see from his facial expression at the back of the stage,
83.
he knows he's playing good, and he is showing that he's playing good. Not to his opponent, but just in the background, he just had a little moment to himself. Just
99.
puff the cheeks a little bit. Looking good, feeling good, playing good is Charlie Manby right now.
45.
You live for these kind of streaks. It's one of the greatest feelings in this sport when you're on a heater
65.
and you don't think you're going to miss a double. At all.
100.
By comparison, that 17 darter is rubbish in keeping what else he's done this evening. But actually, in terms of the Super Series norm, is pretty normal. In fact,
65.
the average leg here at the Live Lounge is 1 in 17. Which just tells you that he is playing above expectations, or at least above expectations for this place anyway.
43.
Everybody's had a dart at a double in all the games. But if Manby were to
91.
turn the screw just a little bit more, Wawrzewski might not get a dart at double in this match.
Could get double bageled.
140.
No legs, no darts at a double. He may only get a dart at the bullseye in terms of a dart to win a leg in this contest.
55. David Ducar 90.
Hit the bull, Dave.
45. Charlie
By
Ducar
not doing so,
126.
Manby might.
Beautiful guy for the treble. Finds the treble. Bullseye.
101.
He's missed one.
David Ducar
He
45.
is human after all.
Game shot on the fourth
He is
leg.
human. He's
David
lost a leg.
Wawrzewski.
Only the second one he's lost tonight.
Fifth leg Charlie to throw
I
first.
tell you, we've got to give
Game
David
on.
credit there because he's been under the pump for the very first dart. He definitely doesn't look too comfortable up there. But given one opportunity amidst the onslaught, he's taken the chance. And the least he could have done in that
45.
particular situation was force the question of Charlie Manby. Can you win it with your darts in the hand? And that is exactly
85.
the issue that he has forced here.
I think this is a really difficult time of year
56.
for a lot of people. It gets a bit hotter. People suffer from hay fever.
26.
These are the little things that people forget about when it comes to professional sport. You think these are superheroes, superhumans, that these little things just don't affect them. Well, they do.
48.
Things like contact lenses and medications they might have to take just to feel like themselves.
45.
I've spoken to Kevin Painter at length about hay fever. He suffers with it terribly. And having to manage it through the summer was difficult for him. It affects your eyes, your breathing.
100.
But it feels like Charlie is not allergic to anything right now. He's just ready to win again.
140.
Well, he's left himself on 32, and you don't expect him to miss. Dave Wawrzewski, they may well be the last darts he throws in this contest because Charlie Manby comes back from 32
Charlie
to
Ducar
put the
32.
cap on what has been another nigh on impeccable display. A couple of ton plus checkouts in there. Average at the moment of 95. But he hasn't
16.
crossed the line just yet. But he has got 3 more because Wawrzewski's not left himself on a finish.
Not yet.
140.
He has now.
Shadow car 16.
Charlie's had a few troubles at this side of the board. Does he have one here?
Getting shot on the mark.
No, is the
Manby.
answer. It was a real powerful start for Charlie Manby, and that just saw him overpower David Wawrzewski in the end. We speak about top players playing in spells, and that's exactly what he did there at the beginning of the game. He just had too much for David Wawrzewski in the end. Average comes down to just a measly 91.85 in the end. 4 from 8 on his doubles. Poor in comparison. Couple of ton plus checkouts. He's a 4-1 winner. Next up, Gawlas and Thomas. Welcome back to Pluto TV and welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Charlie Manby's 2 for 2 on this Thursday night. Before the break, he got the better with David Wawrzewski by 4 legs to 1. And he had a bet hit by 2 ton plus checkouts in that game. Got up to a real spurt at the beginning of the match. 4 from 8 on his doubles all told. Just had too much with David Wawrzewski. Next up for us, Adam Gawlas is back in action.
First leg, Adam to through first.
He takes on Martin Thomas. Paul Nicholson is very much looking forward to this one.
It's all about bounce back ability, isn't it?
If
he doesn't bounce back here, this man from Czechia, then
99.
he's going to be in early trouble. I think Martin Thomas will definitely be counting his chickens after
26.
his first game with Henry Coates. But now that he's been given that little bit of a jump start, he can get his teeth into Gawlas, who I'm sure isn't feeling 100% confident now after 4 consecutive losses here this week.
60.
May just begin to feel that things are going wrong for him, and you could just, I know he doesn't give much away, but you could just tell his demeanour's a little bit flatter than it has been at times this week, Gawlas.
125.
Just looking a little bit more harder work for him than it looked, particularly on Monday and Tuesday when he really was running away, running riot with Group A.
He hasn't played against Thomas here at the Super Series before, because
134.
this is the first time they've been in the building together. But they will have been in other buildings before together. Because
83.
when Gawlas was playing the Pro Tour in 2021-2022, Martin Thomas was getting a few invites back then. Probably seen him walking around the building, thinking,
134.
who's this guy from Wales? He's obviously from Wales. He's got a dragon on his shirt. Well, everybody knows who Martin is.
55.
If you don't,
Car 74.
have a word with yourself.
It's one of those people, once you get to know Martin, you do really get to know him well. Very popular character on the circuit. As for Gawlas, he's looking for tops here to take an opening leg. He's had full control off of the very first dart.
34.
He's going to come back for more. And this was the problem for Martin in his opening game. Yes, I know he won it 4-1, but there was a lot of legs he was outscored in. Had to rely on Henry Coates to miss a lot of opportunities at double.
42. Car 40.
I'd say you get the sense Adam Gawlas won't allow him to have those sorts of opportunities, but the last day or so, he's been presenting chances to opponents.
Getting shown the first leg.
Not this time.
Gawlas.
He does take it out before there's any more trouble.
Second leg, Martin to through
Boy,
first.
did he need
Game
that.
on.
Just needs to grind a win out, you feel. He doesn't necessarily need one of those imposing performances that he had
55.
on Monday and Tuesday. He might be served better by winning 4-2 or 4-3, doing the right things at the right times when he's put under pressure. Because that gives you more confidence than actually bossing someone.
Well, you listen to football managers,
140.
and I've spoken to a lot of football managers and listened to a lot of the things that they said. How many of them feel better
40.
after winning a game 1-0 that was a little bit tight, a little bit scrappy, than maybe they are when they've won like 3-4-0 where they can still pinpoint out a few negatives? And I just wonder where for Adam Gawlas, if he could go to a well tonight and come back out the other side, I think it'll make him feel $1 million.
57.
And if he can't do that, he may well be heading to a wishing well come the end of the night, flicking a coin into the bucket and hoping that something comes out and comes true for him
44.
on Friday. Two players that are certainly feeling the perspiration of the heat on the stage. Martin just mopping his brow. Adam did look at times just a
134.
little bit hot under the collar. Martin has brought a towel with him. As for Adam, he's just using his shirt as a towel in this particular contest.
It's not just because of the heat, it's
170.
because of the situation as well. Your body does heat up when it's under pressure.
$28.
Well, that is an invitation, isn't it? Get yourself under 100 here, Thomas. And you might be in a good spot.
60.
but he can't.
Out of the car, 142.
Can't even get under 120. So the bullseye is still very much in play.
Can't be done now. And Thomas only needs the one treble here to guarantee a dart at the ball with the first 2.
Matthew Carr,
Saw
122.
an attempt at this earlier today, and it was bust by hitting a single 16. Well, he needs to find a path to the 54 here. What would you do? That was a very difficult shot.
54. Out of the car, 80.
To double up, Gawlas looking at 80. Beautiful first, double 10.
Game shot on the second leg.
Chris
Adam
Mason,
Gawlas.
if he was sat in this seat, would say clean as a whistle. And he's 2-0
Third leg,
to
Adam
the
to third
goods.
first. Game on.
Martin Thomas has won a Challenge Tour event before, back in 2021 in Milton Keynes, beating our old pal Sean McDonald in the final, the Punisher. Also beat Reese Robinson in the semi-finals, and Robert Thornton in the quarterfinals.
60.
Yeah, that tournament was littered with Modus Super Series historical players
83.
in the final 8. But if that's going to be the biggest title that he wins, I'm not sure he's going to be a happy bunny. I think there's more that he wants. He's played in a couple of UK Opens, 2021 and 2022, when he was in a great deal of good form.
140.
But curiously, Martin Thomas played in the World Masters in 2003.
125. 35, sorry.
He didn't win a game. He lost out to Craig Pullen of New Zealand by 3-2. But that was a brilliant tournament.
180.
Raymond van Barneveld beating Tony West. Oh, sorry, Tony West beating Raymond van Barneveld in the final. Do beg your pardon. By 7-6.
100.
What a
Out of the car,
final that was.
121.
We're going to have similar drama here.
Well, you mentioned Chris Mason. Nobody says the word drama better in the world. You ever heard him say that word? The way he says it in his natural Bristolian accent, it is genuinely
81.
the best that word is said on the planet.
Commentator on the most famous 1-2-1 checkout here, did Mace.
Bullseye for the win.
59. Out of the car, 40.
Yeah, I'll never forget that line. Absolutely incredible from Andreas Harrison. Is it going to be absolutely incredible from Adam Gawlas?
Game shot on the third leg.
He finds
Adam Gawlas.
it.
With his first dart, it is
Fourth leg, Lanny to
Flavlas.
third first. Game on.
That's a bit of an inside joke, because his nickname is Flawless. But if you make it the same as his surname, it's Flavlas.
100.
Reminds me of one of those 90s floor fillers. I know you look flawless. Absolutely flawless.
Yeah, that was a terrible song. That's one of those songs where you're in the middle of the dance floor and then it comes on and you think, oh, I think it might be time for a libation.
29.
Would you be in the generation of VK? Would you Vodka Kick and WKD, or that not your generation?
Was my generation, but didn't partake in things like that.
You weren't an Alco Pop kind of guy. You weren't a Smirnoff Ice goer.
I'm going to say no.
My parents told me about them types of nights.
Do you remember where I
93.
grew up? The mean streets of Blythe.
$81.
Thomas has got to get into this game sometime soon. Otherwise it'll be over. It's been pretty steady from Adam. 90 average. Doubles are good. This is so far so good and steadying the ship.
100.
Because the ship was pretty wobbly.
Well, at times, the boat was rocking, but it's
100.
heading towards shore very quickly. As for Thomas the Tank Engine, well, he's just beginning to derail a little bit.
You're not going to let that one go, are you?
No,
He's going to kill you. You do realise that.
Hey, he's not the first player and not the last player who wants to do it, so we've still got to go through those characters in the next game.
140. Marduka 124.
Might have another leg to talk about it. Unless, of course, Gawlas takes at 139.
84. Marduka 139.
And most players these days, they do like to start on 19s with this for good reason, because if you get the first treble, it gives you options. Options afoot. Nearly left tops.
85. Marduka 40.
Tots for Thomas, first start at a double in this contest. Could be his last start of the contest.
Game
He
shown
finds
the
a double
fourth
10,
leg.
he kicks
Martin
himself in the
Thomas.
contest, and he forces Gawlas to serve it out.
Let me just dissect
Fifth
this a
leg,
little
Adam
bit.
to
Gawlas had
first.
139.
Game on.
He hit 57, that leaves 82. He went for treble 14, he hits a single. That leaves 68. And he went for treble 14. Which leaves 26.
60.
Was he trying a little bit of distraction tactics there?
I don't know whether you've seen this trend, but if
96.
Adam Gawlas wins this leg, all 5 games so far this season would have been won by a 4-1 scoreline.
That's very true. Oh, come on. Stop messing around. I want names of Thomas and friends, and we're going to attribute a dart player to every single one of them.
You just said, stop messing around, let's name the Thomas the Tank Engine
Yeah, you
character.
brought the subject up. I'm excited about it all of a sudden. Right, let's go.
Right, so,
60.
Thomas,
That's Martin Thomas.
Edward, Everts,
Ted Everts. Yeah.
Henry,
Coates.
43.
Gordon. Got to be Gigi in it.
Gordon Mothers. Yeah, we'll give him that.
James, Richardson,
Wade. He did win today. We'll give him that.
you're not going to get one to this. Percy,
My old pal Kevin McGarry from Blythe, because he's part of the Percy Arms
97.
football team. Oh, sorry, the darts team.
Toby,
$86.
I don't know any Tobys.
Well, there's never been a Toby that's played here because I've just had a look through my anorak. I suppose Stephen Bunting's son's called Toby.
Yeah, we'll give it to Toby Bunting.
60.
Now it gets a bit more tricky. Emily. Trying to think, is there an Emily?
58.
Yes, Emily Alford. She's from Nova Scotia, so she gets that one.
Annie?
Anne Kirk.
Good answer. Clarabelle.
Oh, now it's getting tricky. If you're a dart in Clarabelle, at MSS Darts.
95.
All the lines I never thought I'd see in commentary.
Right, serious hats on everybody because Gawlas is looking at 129 for the match.
60.
He's always got a serious hat on.
29.
Always. Points make prizes. Now, this is an interesting situation. If he'd found the 60, what would he have done?
57. Marzuka 158.
This would be some save. It's perfect. Double 19. Oh, that is majestic. How good was that to save the game?
6 leg Martin to through first.
Outstanding from the Welshman. And Gawlas will not believe what he's just seen.
95.
Incidentally, just to finish this topic off, and hopefully we'll never, ever revisit this again. One hopes.
I can't guarantee that.
Now, did you know that in Thomas the Tank Engine, the Fat Controller's name is not actually the Fat
137.
Controller?
He's just the controller, isn't he?
No. His name, it's incredible. Sir Topham
59.
Hatt. Sir Topham Hatt.
$140.
I can't attribute him to anyone.
So, yeah. So it's a Topham Hatt, also known as the Fat Controller, was a controller of Northwestern Railway and formerly the Skarloey Railway.
Well, 167 after a max. This could be the second biggest possible two-visit conversion. And what looked like a lost game
80. Matthew Carr, 167.
could be salvaged. Oh, he doesn't get a shot at the bullseye. But he might be really close to taking us all the way.
99. Adam McCarr, 144.
Unless Gawlas has got this in his locker. Has he? Apparently not. Thomas is finishing rather well, and if he gets the treble he needs, based on
88.
50% on doubles in this game
Matthew
so
Carr,
far,
68.
he might just be about to make it 3-3.
Double 10 and now double 5.
58.
Not to be,
Adam
and
McCarr,
that probably
56.
will be that, as Gawlas looks at 56 to complete a 4-2 win. Well, he's had a chance at a double. He's been 50% thus far, and he's got 2 in his hand at double top. Double 10.
Game shot on
In
the
it
match,
goes, and Adam
Gawlas.
Gawlas is back on the board, and he'll be hoping he's back on track as he gets the better of Martin Thomas by 4 legs to 2. Well, it was a very handy performance from the Czech ace. 90 average, 4 from 8 in terms of his finishing. A decent display from him. Coming up after the break is Henry Coates against Dave Wawrzewski as we enter the second half of the night. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius? Yes. Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. One more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison!
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor!
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler! Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. We're ready for the night's action here in this Group B. And before the break, we saw Adam Gawlas get the better of Martin Thomas by 4 legs to 2. So far, so good for Charlie Manby. He's won both of his matches, the only player of 100% record so far. And he's looked imperious at times as well. 2 4-1 wins for him means that he's top of the group. We can have a look at that now. And we'll move into the second half of the night's session with a meeting between Coates and Wawrzewski. Coates in desperate need of getting off the mark, needs a win in this one. He lost his first 2 games by a 4-1 scoreline. For David, 1 win, 1 defeat. As far as the table is concerned, Manby 4 points, Thomas 2, Wawrzewski 2, Gawlas also on 2. Henry Coates is the only player yet to pick up a win in this particular group as we head into the second half of the evening's action. And for Henry, he played one in his opener, averaged just under 92 in defeat to Charlie Manby. And his undoing in his second match against Martin Thomas was quite simple. Missing 14 darts at a double in that contest against the Welshman. And that was why he found himself on the wrong end of a 4-1 scoreline.
97.
So then we enter the second half of the evening session. Coates against Wawrzewski. And for Henry, this is a game, simply put, you sense he has to win.
100.
I think it's this simple.
93.
He needs to get out of tonight with at least 2 points. He's got Gawlas to come in game 9.
43.
If he can get himself 1 win from the last couple of games, and one of them is quite a heavy win, if the other one's a defeat, and that's
43.
a narrow defeat, that's not the worst situation to be in. He can still have a brilliant Friday night and qualify.
56.
But if he does have a bad night, and I mean a really bad night, he could use somebody winning all of their games, like Charlie Manby.
134.
And keeping everybody else down a peg.
Well, he's almost getting towards that point already where he could just do a Charlie Manby sailing off into the sunset, doing damage on others, and then that gives him the best possible chance of just beginning to catch up.
58.
Effectively,
And
he is a
Ricard,
game behind
134.
everybody else in this group now. That's how the situation pans out. Looking at tops of the 134, not to be this
94.
time, but his scoring prowess has afforded him opportunities. It's afforded him the luxury of time, and he is going to come back for 3 more at the target at the top of the board.
83. And Ricard, 40.
I think he was going for 2 single 20s there to leave tops. But it
20.
continues.
David Ricard, 161.
It is very much a mental battle now. Well, that would have been so hurtful.
97.
Was he had
and
found
Ricard,
that.
20.
But he would have known the impact that finish would have had in more ways than one, and so Coates is back for 2 10s.
Getting shown the
to
first
take
leg,
the
Henry
opening
Coates.
leg.
Second leg, David, the third first. Game on.
He's 3 from 25 for the night.
100.
That's a couple of commentators relaying to you what has already happened.
100.
He might not know those numbers, but he will feel them. It's no indication of what can happen in the future.
83.
He might go on some sort of crazy rampage on the doubles, like Charlie Manby did earlier on. Just needs to build a bit of confidence with it over the coming
140.
minutes.
But that's the point, isn't it? Henry Coates, yes, he's lost 2 games for 1. Charlie Manby's won a couple of games for 1. But that can ultimately
81.
as well, that can twist the other way. Charlie Manby could have a couple of poor performances. Henry Coates could rally towards the end of the night, and they'd both be at an equilibrium.
140. 140. Henry Carr, 121. $97. David
He does
Carr,
a really good job
97.
there, but Wazzy could make him pay for not taking 121 out. And he is not
57.
a double-double kind
Henry
of guy.
Carr,
He's very
24.
traditional.
Getting shown on the second leg.
Something's
Henry Coates.
cooking here for Coates. All of a sudden, 2 consecutive
Third leg
doubles
ended
hit.
through first. Game on.
He can turn a game around fast. It's just the way he plays. And pretty much his entire generation.
131.
Do you know who beat him in his first World Masters Boys tournament? Jared Cole.
85.
When Henry was 11.
Was it like that Michael Owen video? I take it
57.
you've seen that video. Well done. He's 13.
40.
Basically, David Becker's taking penalties against this 13-year-old at Stokes Britannia Stadium, and he's he's putting everyone in the back of the net
80.
with power and started celebrating them. Neville Southall then goes, "Well done. He's only 13."
140.
If you're wanting sympathy for Michael Owen, you're talking to the wrong guy. Anybody who supports Newcastle United, Michael Owen is like a swear word.
101.
He's never had a cup of tea in his life, Michael Owen.
Yeah, he's not our cup of tea either.
81.
Oh.
Henry Carr, 132.
You want honesty? You got it right there. You want 1-3-2 finishes? You're going to have to wait.
50. David Carr,
It's a
155.
158 in the previous game from Martin Thomas. We're not going to see a 155 from Dave Wawrzewski.
13. Henry Carr, 82.
Is it 2 consecutive doubles? How about another?
42.
Not quite.
David Carr, 142.
But he's in a really good position here.
Because Wawrzewski's just not firing at this
57.
present moment in
Henry
time.
Carr, 40.
And Coates has got space to win this third leg.
Game shown the third leg. Henry
Gets
Coates.
there eventually. He's not had to do anything out of the realms of
Fourth
normality
leg,
here,
David through
but it's
first.
been a
Game on.
professional job for the young man.
That's exactly what it is. He's not having to average 105 here. He's having to beat Dave Wawrzewski in this game right now. Averages don't matter.
41.
It's about getting enough chances and taking them. That's exactly what he's doing. He's had 10 darts at a double. Wazzy hasn't had one yet.
60.
Doesn't matter that his conversion's only 30%. He's getting the visits, he's getting the hits, and everything is working out. Just keep building
100.
that confidence. Wazzy knows a thing or two about playing these young bucks.
42.
He's raised a few of them in his area. Some of them are already successful.
Oh, Jack
45.
Johnson,
the most notable of which, the newly crowned Super 16 champion, was here a couple of weeks ago, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. A couple of Saturdays
60.
ago. Did the 9-dart challenge, got over 300 points. Of course he did.
I'd say he might be tuning in, but it must be way past his bedtime now, and it's surely a school
83.
night, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine Jack's up watching this, but it wouldn't shock me if he is.
121.
His mum Natalie might be having a late night cup of Horlicks just to watch a bit of Wazzy.
78.
We need more people like Natalie.
99. David Carr, 154.
Save the game. Coates has got a really doable opportunity right in front of him. He could finish on tops.
60.
The
Andrew
bull,
Carr, 119.
or even double 13. Or... Oh, well, young man.
78.
Fancy hitting the bull and
David
not
Carr,
getting a single
94.
19.
Well, we saw one teenage talent on this stage go bull 11 bull. It broke the internet. Now Wawrzewski wants the ball just to save the game, and
47.
because he can't
Andrew
find it
Carr,
there,
41.
the game could well be up. And for Henry Coates, after 2 heavy defeats to kickstart his night, he is
21.
not on the
David
board
Carr,
with a whitewash
47.
win. And so Wawrzewski will be back for 47 to get something on the board at least.
15.
I think Henry
Andrew
Coates
Carr,
needs this.
20.
It would repair a lot of his leg difference.
Be a huge win in more ways than one.
No score.
But he's
David
unable to
Carr,
get over the line.
32.
He's missing a lot of darts a double. 3 from 15 in this game on the back of a game where he was 1 from 15. But Wawrzewski isn't punishing him. He's not putting him
24.
away.
Andrew Carr, 20.
And David cannot say in this leg he's not had opportunities. Into Henry Coates' 9th visit. Double 5.
Game
Eventually
shown the
it's
match,
there.
Henry Coates.
And for Henry Coates, it's a huge win. A 4-0 success. He's off the mark. He's on the board. It will do him some favours in terms of legs difference. Well, that was the only foot he put wrong in that particular match. It's the tail of the tape. Not a classic statistically, but Henry Coates won't care because he's on the board. Coming up after the break, Charlie Manby takes on Adam Gawlas.
Charlie McGuire, 164. 44. 32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the
81.
stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
Yoki with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think he's
required
gone to
118.
bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59.
Threw the entire body into that one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
George require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy. Couldn't get the job done.
The match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife!
Oh, beautiful. Sophie McKinley, the bullseye.
Finds it with a third dart. Great to get that victory over Lorraine.
Takes it out superbly, Queen of Gulliver.
And she finds it. That's good composure there from Kirsty Vinakainen.
Does it in 3.
So Pauling looking at 130. Another double 5. Oh, that's magnificent. It's another big checkout and a big time for Paige Pauling.
On the first leg.
Check, check, check.
Double 13. 3-2 up. She does.
Game shot in the second leg. Angela Kirkwood.
Bullseye.
Game shot on the third leg. Steph Clark.
So 109 for the match and 6 darts from here for Vicky Fruin. Is she going to find her second tub plus checker of the match? Yes, she is.
Once again, she hits the treble double 18. A nice little Natalie.
Said dart is going to be at double top. Said dart is found. And this is a good couple of legs from Kirsty Hutchinson here. Yeah, there is a slight change to next week's schedule when it comes to Women's Week. Unfortunately, Lorraine Winstanley has had to withdraw, meaning her ever-present record here comes to an end. And Laura Turner has swapped the commentary box for the stage. She will be playing in Women's Week 4, and that's going to be live with us from Monday morning from 9:30. All the action is live, exclusive, free, always free here on Pluto TV. To game 7 of the session, and it is a meeting between Adam Gawlas and Charlie Manby. These two combatants went toe-to-toe, face-to-face, head-to-head in Group A. And they go grill to grill again. But who is going to win this particular locking of the horns? Paul Nicholson.
95.
You know how earlier on we were talking about head-to-head records in Group C and how some of them typified the week of said player? Well, with these two, it follows the same pattern. Because Gawlas beat Manby 4-0 on Monday, beat him 4-3 the next day, but then it was reversed when Gawlas was starting to flag.
140.
There are bad times to play young Charlie, and then there are terrible times. Maybe right now is not the best time to be playing him, considering how well he's played this evening. But 105 was the average for Manby when he beat Gawlas yesterday.
140.
Just about yesterday, because this game will be played over the course of 2 days. Late Thursday night and early Friday morning.
123.
So short game then, yeah?
Yeah.
You just make it imply it's a game that's going to take so long, it's going to take 2 days to complete.
Well, of sorts.
59.
I don't think
WK
this fixture suits
143.
Manby whatsoever. I said that yesterday, but I think he's trying to figure this out.
119.
Yeah, I think he's figured out the pace of this game. It's not going to bother him anymore He's just going to try and use up a bit more time in between throws because we know that Adam is the slowest player this week. Some players like to get into a rhythm. They retrieve their darts from the board, they walk around, and some of them like to be at the hockey within a matter of seconds. Well, look at this. It's a 13-dart start from Manby. He's just on fire this evening. He's on a rampage.
He's making legs like that look like it's regulation, doesn't he? And I've got to say, have we had somebody of Charlie's age that's played the game with the maturity that he's showing at times this week? I'm struggling to think of another one.
Wawrzewski.
Yeah, very good point. He was a 20-year-old that played like a 40-year-old, and I mean that with the biggest compliment in the world.
Yeah, Sebastian's a tremendous young lad.
No surprise he's doing well on tour. We always felt he was going to be one of those players. He may not hit the ground running straight away in terms of, you may not see him get the headlines, but he's somebody you expect to be in the 64 come the end of his card.
I think what we should do is gauge where Sebastian is when he's 25. That's what we should do these days. We did it with Luke Humphries. We did it with Dimitri Vandenberg.
135.
Yes, they were winning stuff before that age. But when you want to end your development to a career as Youth World Champion and then you have to move on, that's where the career really kicks in. And that's what Gawlas has been saying. He wants to win that World Youth Championship. And if he can, he feels that will give him the impetus to kick on to be the player that he really wants to be.
Well, he's zooming in on the treble there is Adam Gawlas.
99.
He's himself for the finish. Manby looking to set up from 2-2-1.
100.
He sets up very well.
167.
It's 167 to equalise. It can be done now. Not anymore.
139. Shadow car 121.
Ah, the most famous finish in this building, otherwise known as the Harrison. Bullseye for the 2-0 lead.
He's gone for the double drop. Now he's going for the double 25.
82. Advocar 28.
Well, for one apiece, Gawlas looking at double 14.
That flight is firmly in the way now.
Game show on the second leg. Adam Gawlas.
I don't... Was that in it? You could just see the piercing of the puncture mark, I believe. Just in the corner.
First. Game on. $81.
Yeah, it was just a small puncture mark that you could just see, a puncture wound in that double 14. It was very close to the wire, but Manby levels up at one apiece. Averaging here...
50.
So Gawlas leveling up at one apiece, shall I say. Manby, though, here, averaging 111.86 in this contest.
58.
That's the type of dart that maybe VAR in football would have needed to have drawn the lines and whatever.
We don't need VAR. We don't need DAR. We've got wires. We've got a referee. And we've got a spotter.
92.
If you don't know what a spotter is, it's the person who looks after every single shot and tells the camera where to point.
45.
And what an excellent spotter we've got on shift tonight.
See, I didn't know they had spotters when I was watching back in the 80s. It was very different back then. If you think about how we view darts these days, we have this
93.
view here. It's called a split, Well, you have the dartboard on the left, you have the player on the right-hand side. This is a very ubiquitous shot in the sport, isn't it? But if you go back to the 1980s, there weren't as many angles that we used. We had maybe 3 or 4 cameras, that was about it. But they've always had this one. Go back to 1980. Maybe just a little bit after that, where this actually came into the sport. But if you watch the News of the World back in the 1970s, they didn't have this. All you got was a full board with the camera pointing up to the board next to the players.
140.
Now, I could get very nerdy about this, as Paul Hinks has a smile on his face because the 127 and game could be on offer. Triple 19 would have left the ball, and so Manby 118 to open up a 2-1 lead.
59.
He's already had 3 ton plus checkouts tonight. Is he going to add a 4th to the catalogue? If he does, he finds himself halfway towards a 3rd victory. Couldn't find a way above. 48 ball could have been another option, but decided to persevere. And so Gawlas will return for 68 to get the break.
I'm surprised he didn't go 48 ball. Well, this is now double 16. That's a beautiful first start. He might be sweating it up a little bit on the stage, Gawlas, but he is really using what he's building very well here. That was a pinpoint shot. Feels like the first time tonight that Manby's been behind. I think it is the first time he's been behind.
You're correct, because he raced into a couple of leg lead against Coates and did exactly the same as 3-0 up, I believe, wasn't he, on David Wawrzewski? Yeah, the first time he's trailed all evening. Now, I can get very nerdy now with you, Nico.
60.
If you're talking about darts, bring it on.
Talking about darts and TV. Now, I was doing some reading once upon a time, and that zoom that you see there for the 180s was something that was created by the BBC. It was almost accidental for the first World Championship. It was a camera effect they wanted to build the tension and build the drama for viewers back at home.
So that was back in 1978?
Indeed it was. There's a great article by Jonathan Liu in The Guardian about the origins of televised darts. It's well worth a read.
Well, if Jonathan's writing it, it's definitely worth a read. He's a great journalist.
Well, hold the front page. Hold the back page. Charlie Manby was 5 darts into the 9. And he fancied it. You could tell he fancied it.
You know, one of these days, we're going to get someone on 141. They're going to hit the treble 20. They're going to hit the 57. And then they're going to hit a 4 to leave double 10.
121.
They're going to reject it. Just because it would make headlines.
A little bit like the time Ronnie O'Sullivan deliberately hit a 146.
Correct.
97.
Well, Charlie Manby here, averaging 105 on the nose. And he's still trailing in this contest to a man that's averaging around about 20 points inferiorly to him. Potential 11 darter in the offing here for Manby to get the break
57.
back.
Charlie O'Carr, 85.
And looking to flex his muscles once again. He's got 6 on this point. Well, he's made a bit of a mess of that.
65.
Covers well with the last.
Yeah, that's worked out pretty well in the end.
He's beginning to find a process here, Charlie, to deal with the pace of Gawlas.
Yeah, he's taking a drink of water between most throws here. I think he's going to run out of water.
60. Charlie O'Carr,
Keegan
20.
Brown size pint glass. 210s for Manby. 13 darter. It's his second 13 darter of the match. And we are back at an even kilter. We're back at 2-2.
Charlie to throw first.
Yeah, look at the sips of the water. They are very, very small. That's what you should be doing during a game of darts. You shouldn't be gulping it down. Look what tennis players do when they have their sit-down break. They take
100.
small sips. You need gradual hydration. You don't need to be guzzling that water. This is really smart from Manby. That's really good. This time it's Gawlas on the 9. You said there was a tungsten teaser going.
180.
About players that have had a 9 hit against them. I wonder if Manby's going to put his name on that list here tonight. Maybe.
140.
5 perfect darts will have to do.
Well, if that 9 darter did go, Charlie Manby would be the 3rd player in this group to have a 9 darter hit against
43.
them. Well, I've just given you 2 of the answers if you can connect the dots. And considering Adam Gawlas is a debutant, and considering Charlie Manby would have been added to that list, well, you've got a list of 3 players to pick from, and you'll probably get 2 of them right.
So you're saying that a 9 darter has been hit against Martin Thomas?
By Leonard Gates.
Leonard Gates, yeah. And Henry Coates? Dave Wawrzewski.
Dave Wawrzewski, that was the Mason Whitlock 9.
140. Adam Gar, 81.
There's 2 of the 17 that you need. Gawlas 81 for 3-2, and to respond with a 13 darter with a 4 visit leg to get the break and then have the darts to win the match in the next. 2 in his hand, a double 12.
Game show on the 5th leg, Adam
And now
Gawlas.
Adam Gawlas has his nose in front again, and he now has the darts to win
6th
this
leg, Adam to do
contest.
first. Game on.
And through gritted teeth, he's still going to find a way of getting the job done. And that's despite Manby here, averaging 104.5.
$180. $45.
Well, the 3rd consecutive leg where somebody's kicked off with a max.
$85.
Yeah, that's going to be his miss, isn't it? If he keeps doing that late release, the shoulder lifts. You can't save it. But your natural instinct as a dart player is to try and save
100.
it with the shoulder. The way to save that dart from being too late is to just release the pressure from the grip and to relax the muscle under the right arm. That'll just make sure that the throwing mechanisms are using a bit of flow instead of too much energy.
Well, Gawlas here has put on a real spurt. We've been talking about spells all week, and potentially back-to-back
58.
4-visit legs for
Adam Gar,
Gawlas could see him
96.
seal the win against Charlie Manby, who's now looking a rather dejected figure. This could be his first defeat of the night. Adam Gawlas could join him on 4 points of a win.
The way things are going for Manby this week. He'll want to see the back of Gawlas
56.
at some point, but I wouldn't be surprised if these two are occupying position 1 and position 3 in this group this time tomorrow, and they might even be in the same group on Saturday night.
Adam Gar, 40.
Could play 7 times this week. But meeting number 4 is in the palm of the hands of Adam Gawlas. He's just got to reach out and touch base. Reach out. And touch base.
Adam Gawlas.
And get a win. And that's his 2nd win of the night. And it stops Charlie Manby from completing the card. A puff of the cheek, a sigh of relief on the face of the check case. As for Charlie Manby, well, that was a bit of a frustrating one because the average in excess of 101 is the best numbers it's seen from anybody all evening. But it's been rendered irrelevant because of that power-packed end, that real spurt from Adam Gawlas.
54. Charlie Maguire, 164. 44. 32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts, but he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
jockey with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think he's
required
gone to
180.
bust it, maybe. The first title he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
required
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go
Couldn't get the job
it.
done.
Got in the match. And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife.
Well, back to the Modus Super Series. Before the break, we saw 2 stars of the Development Tour joust it out, and it was Adam Gawlas that ran out a 4-2 winner against Charlie Manby. That was despite Manby averaging 101.66, 213 dart legs in there. But they'd be the only 2 legs he'd win. Gawlas running out, as I say, 4-2 winner. Timed his one to perfection from 2-2, put in 2 really good legs, including an 11 darter in there to complete victory. That means that him and Manby both on 4 points respectively. And the winner of this one will join that pair on 4 as Wawrzewski takes on Martin Thomas in this particular match. Now, I'm just having a look here at the league standings, and
Game on.
there is a way where all 5 players could finish on 4 points overnight. David wins this one against Martin. Henry Coates beats Adam Gawlas in game 9.
81.
And Martin Thomas beats Charlie Manby in game number 10 of the evening. All 5 players would be tied on 4 points in the group going into Friday's play.
135.
Doesn't happen very often, does it? And one thing's for sure. Wawrzewski, in his final game of the night, is leaving no stone unturned. He's gone away from those very sharp-looking white moulded flights, and he's gone back to the old faithful pinkies with the aluminium stem. Let's see if he pulls a blinder right here.
100.
But with Thomas getting a max and a 135, and then the 85, he's
85.
looking fairly useful at the start of this one. He's got 2 games to go. And this is where he can put in that spurt to possibly even lead the table.
100.
Well, possible
Modus
6 points, and if he wins his
101.
last 2 games, depending on what happens between Gawlas and Coates, and there is a high chance he could top the group, or at least have a share of the top of the group as he looks at Totso 101 checkout.
61.
Just above
David
the bar.
Carr,
And so
120.
Wawrzewski looks at 120.
Tops.
Game
Oh,
shot the
it's
first
a
leg,
beautiful
David
thing,
Wawrzewski.
isn't it? Textbook on the 120.
Second leg, Martin to through first. Game
If you're not
on.
going to hit the 60, get it just above, nestle it in, and bang that tops.
90.
Now, David, you may see on the back of his shirt, has got the Alzheimer's Society Forget-Me-Not. It's something that he's worn pretty much ever since he's played here at the Live Lounge. Of
85.
course, it's a very personal story for him. He's done a lot of charity work for that particular cause. He's had dartboards signed with fellow players here. He's been on charity
83.
walks himself, and the people that work for that particular charity, they do a great job working with people with dementia,
100.
Alzheimer's. It's a horrible disease, and some of the work that David does has helped raise a lot of money to a cause which has an effect on a lot of families in the United Kingdom.
$100.
I actually think you need to be somewhat affected by that affliction, whether it's directly or indirectly, to figure out just how much work goes
94.
into research and development of what could potentially help the future in that regard.
86. Martin 54.
Thomas is looking at tops.
44.
Well, the door's
David
open
Carr,
for another ton plus
130.
checkout here for Wawrzewski. This time he can't get that perfect second dart.
94. Martin 10.
And so Thomas is back for double 5 to level this game up at 1 apiece.
Game shown the second
Gets
leg,
it with his
Martin
first
Thomas.
dart. 1-1.
Third leg, David to through first. Game on. $94. $100.
Do you think Wazzy's the kind of player that would potentially give the seniors a go?
85.
Is that something on his radar, or is he just happy with what he's doing?
I think that's one of them you're going to have to ask him. That's not me trying to sit on the fence of the question, but I
41.
just get the sense that David's enjoying what he does. And I actually had a chat with him this evening, and he was talking about the rest of the year, and he said when he got the email to be invited back, he
40.
still never expects the email. Never expects that he's going to be back here. But every single time he gets it, he just feels like it's a bonus for him. I think he's just enjoying what he's doing, and
96.
maybe, possibly, I really don't know. I think if the truth be told, it's probably one of those things that, and I'm sure he'll watch this back and he'll probably tell you and Devon tomorrow all about it. But
do you know what? I
60.
think there are a stream of dart players, maybe even into the hundreds, who could say, I'm not even sure where my darts would be if it
100.
had not been for the Modus Super Series. You look at the other side of the coin. Let's look at Adam Atkinson. We don't hear of Adam anymore. We don't know what he's doing up in Hartlepool. But he exploded into
Matthew
Super Series
Carr,
life in Southampton
164.
and a little bit here. But there have been people who've been ever present since the start, like Martin. Look at this.
129.
He wanted to look
David
away
Carr,
after the
167.
third dart was thrown. But was he on something slightly bigger?
99. Martin Carr 35.
well, Thomas looking at 35 to get the break and open up a 2-1 lead. It was 1-0 down in this match. Gets
Game
his
shown the
nose in
third leg,
front.
Martin Thomas.
I like that route on 35. Most people
Fourth
will
leg,
go for
Martin
the
to through
3 or the
first.
19.
Game on.
But if you're more of a tops and tens kind of guy like Martin is, you can utilise something a little bit different, like double 12 or double 6.
41.
He's always had a very moving parts kind of action as Martin, with those small darts, small flights. Takes a very pure thrower
140.
to get away with throwing flights of that small nature. They do not suit many people.
$96.
Earlier on yesterday, we did have a win on the PDC Pro Tour for James Wade, beating Scott Williams in the final.
60.
That's actually a really good run for Scott. Gets him moving in the right direction. I'm sure he'd like to have a really good day later today when there are 2 qualifiers for the European Tour for Flanders at the end of August.
3.
And the Baltic Sea Darts Open as we get 3 from Mr. Thomas.
38.
Moi.
I'm going to tell him you did that.
So he can watch it back. He won't mind.
46.
He's a very laid-back character, is Martin. In fact, he gave as much gusto as anybody else.
60.
Feels like the air's just come out of the balloon in this game. Something needs to happen. Like this.
133.
That's a little bit better than 3.
Well, to be fair to Martin, he's recovered well from that errant score, let's put it that way. But what it did do is it allowed
39.
Wawrzewski a free go on the throw of Thomas, but he hasn't really been able to keep pressure in terms of the scoring stakes. So actually, that poor visit's been rendered irrelevant to a certain extent.
100. David Carr, 164.
He's going to get a look at 82 if Wawrzewski can't find this.
60. Martin Carr, 82.
Oh, it's not tops. This is the Finnish way of getting away with 57. He's on double 3. It's the finish.
He's not Finnish. He's hit
Getting
double
shown the
3.
fourth leg, Martin Thomas.
Don't tell me that's going to catch on.
Fifth leg, David to throw first. Game on.
Perhaps ironic, a leg which he scored 3, was 1 on double 3 to put him 3-1 up.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to forget that leg in a
42.
while.
They do say everything comes in threes.
$100.
It's a sport where things do come in threes.
Well, Martin Thomas will be hoping three's the magic number because he can still get to 6 points tonight, wins this one and beats Charlie Manby in the final game of the
60.
session in around about half an hour's time. Then he will find himself in a very good position to progress through again.
83.
And we're getting very close to the prospect that Wawrzewski getting
100.
to 4 points. Can't be done now.
Oh, it can.
Yeah, but
135.
look at what Thomas has done here. And Wawrzewski's not starting on 19, so he's not going to leave a finish. 6
60.
starts from here to get to 4 points and still have the opportunity of making it 6. Just for a second there, I'm thinking he's going to score a maximum to leave 3. His magic number.
86. Martin Carr, 50.
Well, this has been a much better display for Martin Thomas. It's double top to win it. And
Being
to
shown
win
the
it
match,
with a
Martin
14 darter. And all of a sudden, is putting himself in play to be the premier player come the end of the night in this Group B. A victory for Martin Thomas by 4 legs to 1 against Dave Wawrzewski very much puts him in play. This how the game went statistically. There was a bit of a chasm really, wasn't there, between the pair. David only had one darter double on the back of the 120 combo. Thomas wins 4-1. Gawlas Coates is next.
$54. Charlie Maguire, 164. $44. $32. Charlie require 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
require
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
The moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
Yoki with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
118.
bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust. And
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy. Couldn't get the job done.
The match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. This is how the table looks. And as you can see, Charlie Manby, Martin Thomas, and Adam Gawlas all on 4 points respectively. David Wawrzewski, his night's work is done. Just the 1 win from his 4 games. Henry Coates is rounding his night off here against Gawlas, who can move on to 6 points with victory here. If Coates wins this, then it would mean that the winner of the match in Game 10 between Charlie Manby and Martin Thomas would be guaranteed the outright lead going into play on Friday night here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. So Gawlas and Coates, game number 9 of 10 that we've got this evening. And the asset, Paul Nicholson, is with me here in the commentary box to talk all about it. Now, for Henry Coates, it was much better last time out. In fact, you can say the same about both players in their previous matches.
First. Game on.
It was far more productive for Adam Gawlas against Charlie Manby. Beating Manby despite Charlie averaging over a ton. But it was that real spurt, wasn't it? That real spell towards the end of the game. That 11 darter to make it 3-2. And then rallied home in the leg after.
123.
Yeah, it was a really good match play performance. Picking his moments off and taking his chance when he got it.
82.
One thing we do know is that Henry's going to have to play a little bit better than his last couple of games. I don't think an average starting with a 7 is going to be good enough against Gawlas right now. It's going to have to start with an 8, if not a 9. It just goes to show. Manby played him. His starter with a 100. And it wasn't good enough.
Man be good, but man not be as good as Gawlas.
180.
That's a good sign. Coates has not been struggling for those tonight. That's his 6th.
One of them, 40. $59. Out of the car, 138.
Spots like this, you would take 98 as a score. Or you could just take it out. That is actually one of the drawbacks of going 19s first on 138, because if you get the treble first, then the single, you still need another treble to leave the double.
55. Out of the car, 52.
Oh, Gawlas looking at 52 to take the opening lane, but a really strong start from the Czech. Okay, the old double-double trick. Double top for double 6. It's actually been quite good on this target this week. And he's good there.
Game shot on the first leg, Adam Gawlas.
Good to go in this contest. 1-0 he leads.
Second leg, Henry to do first. Game on. $45.
Would at this point like to give a word to our referee, Paul Hinks, who's refereed every single game today in the blisteringly warm conditions. There he was. A man who's refereed 4 World Championship finals
93.
over the course of a long and distinguished career.
These young men have actually met before
100
on the development tour back in 2023. It was the first event of the year, and Henry won by 4 legs to 2. Would you like to know who won that tournament?
Please.
Someone who has played here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. That's Christopher Tonders of Germany. Haven't seen much of him lately. That was a really interesting Final 4 in that tournament, actually. Tonders beat Marvin Kraft 94 in the final, in an old German final. Semi-finalists were Nathan Rafferty and Wessel Nyman, who was a semi-finalist on the Pro Tour just a matter of hours ago.
$81.
Henry made the last 16 of that event, losing out to Rafferty.
180.
And it's another maximum for the young man from Matlock. And no, I know everybody thinks I'm going to do it. I'm not going to say it like Grandpa Simpson. Because my good friend Ian Danta can do it a lot better than me.
I mean, admittedly, that's not hard, but...
Henry Car 82.
Fair point, well put. 17. And tops.
42.
He has not had a great
69.
deal of joy on tops tonight.
So Gawlas 69 for a 2-0 lead in this contest. Double top.
Getting shown the
For a
second
2-0
leg,
lead,
Adam
and that's
Gawlas.
back-to-back 15s. Average 100.2 for Adam Gawlas. He's in full
So they got
control
him
of
to
this
through
contest
first.
against
Game
Henry
on.
Coates. And it would mean that if Gawlas was to win this game, obviously one of Manby and Thomas would be guaranteed to be on 6 points. There'd just be a little bit of daylight beginning to build between the top 2 and then those just below in the table. Coates and Wawrzewski would have a lot of work to do on Friday night if they were to
125.
make it into the final on Saturday. They'd have to go strong. They'd have to be strong. Probably have to win at least 3 from 4. But they'd also have to rely on somebody else having a bit of a stinker tomorrow.
One of them, 40.
I'm right in thinking that this week nobody's had a perfect day. That is quite rare.
96.
8 points on Monday and Tuesday for Gawlas. Duff had 8 on Monday. Ronan McDonough had 8 yesterday. The best we're going to see here is 6 in this group. I suppose the right time to get 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 4 in a Group B would be a Friday.
One of them, 40.
Or a Saturday night. Get 4 out of 4 there and you've got the jackpot.
Well, so far, this is a
One of
jackpot
them,
performance
40.
of Gawlas. 15-50.
96.
Could follow up at 11. And he has got clear daylight between himself and Henry Coates, not just in this leg, but seemingly at this present moment in time in this match. Double 18. This is such a useful performance from Adam Gawlas. Average just under 110, 3 from 4 in his doubles. This is really good. And this is the type of performance that we saw from this young man as he burst onto the scene, as he was
96.
making World Youth Finals, as he was making UK Open semi-finals.
He hasn't got that big title yet, has he? But what he's done up to this age, it can be classified as encouraging.
100.
I called him an underachiever yesterday, but that's based on the fact that he's got so much experience for such a young man.
93.
He's played at the PDC World Cup 5 times. He's been in the final of the World Youth Championship, like you mentioned, Henry, and the JDC World Junior Final.
100.
But he made his debut on the European Tour. And this is the thing I couldn't get my head around when I first found out about him. He made his debut on the European Tour less than 9 months after taking up the sport. 9 months. And he was on the stage in Vienna.
40.
Quick learner.
132.
Apparently so.
Well, Coates ain't going to get the 1-3-2 this time, but he has got
48.
time to his side to reduce the gap back down to 3-1. Looking at 84 after just 12 darts.
Seventeens is the play here. Don't do that. Don't do 19s. It makes no sense.
42. Henry Carr, 84.
For someone as adept as Adam, that annoys me.
Well, Coates has been given a
52.
free pass, really, hasn't he, to this leg. 32 left to get on the board and to force Gawlas to serve this match out.
First thing that came to mind when he went to 19s
58.
there was,
Henry Carr,
what would Eric
32.
Bristow have said? He would have just dropped his microphone and said, what are you doing?
No score. Henry Carr, 161.
I think that young man will be happy to see the back of this dartboard tonight. The doubles have been pesky.
But he's going to get 3 more here.
41. Henry Carr, 32.
Gawlas isn't really making severe inroads, is he? 6 visits, only down to 120.
16. Henry Carr,
That's now
120.
6 missed darts at a double for Henry Coates. And Gawlas, who was so good for so long in this game, has an opportunity to see it out. But he's going to need to find what would be his first ton plus finish of the night with his last 3 darts thrown.
It would be a ton plus finish to end his night on 2 bulls.
And it was a coat of paint away. It clipped
95.
the wire just alongside.
Henry Carr 16. Getting shown the
Beautifully in the middle of the
Henry
double A. And how many times do we see that? A player mess about on the doubles, then sees their opponent miss one themselves, and then that sense of urgency, that sense of rush means they hit first time. He knows that it's been a bit troublesome on the doubles in this game, but he knows he's still in the match, but just has to break Gawlas here. Has to break Gawlas twice.
$47.
Ooh, how engaged was that right shoulder? This is his 19th competitive game here at the Modus Super Series this week.
140.
If you didn't know already, these weeks are hard. I can't imagine what it's like doing a triathlon. You get out of the water after you've done the swim.
83.
And your body will be screaming at you. And then all of a sudden you think, oh, I've got to get on a bike now. That might be the comfortable bit.
171.
Pedal for a while at a very high speed, and then you get off the bike and you think, oh, my legs are so tired, but now I've got to run for a while. Mentally, these guys will be thinking very little. There's a lot of conscious thought goes into darts when you play your first game, your second game, but all of a sudden, when you're playing repeatedly,
100.
you go into this autopilot mode.
$95.
It boils down to this. You see a number, you know what to do. This is why a lot of dart players forget what they do when they play on the board. They just see a number, then they see colours. I love what he's just done there. That is exceptional.
139. Henry Carr 95.
Put Coates to keep the game going. Double 19.
Getting shot on the 5th
12
leg. Henry
darter.
Coates.
Well, that's 10 darts better off on the previous leg. And
6
crucially,
leg
that's a
Henry to throw
break.
first. Game on.
And he has the darts here to take us all the way to a last leg decider in this cracker.
58.
Both players having in excess of 90. Really good contest this. Real enjoyable watch.
The thing I admire the most about what Henry's doing here is that at the very least he is limiting damage. He could have lost this 4-0 if Gawlas had found that second bullseye on the 120 in leg 4.
85.
Coates has a leg difference of -2.
100.
Just imagine if he can get out of here with a win. My word, what would that do for his confidence going into night 2?
And it would mean that Manby v Thomas would be a shootout to see who would have top spot overnight, because only one of them would be able to reach 6 points.
60.
Gawlas is losing his grip on this game. The better player is now this young man.
140.
Look at his confidence growing. It's right in front of your eyes. Wasn't that long ago that Adam was averaging 110?
42. Henry Carr 123.
Now it's 91.5.
Feels like he's hit a bit of a brick wall here, doesn't it? And Henry Coates is just getting better as
55.
this game goes along. And actually, you look at the numbers and pretty much every single metric is just beginning to manoeuvre past Gawlas somewhat. And it looks like this game is heading all the way to a last leg decider. We haven't had a last leg decider yet tonight. It looks like we are set for one here.
98. Henry Carr 68.
to send us all the way.
28.
It's that pesky Tops again. That's the thing about Tops. Sometimes you can't avoid it. You can try and avoid double 16 the way that James Wade does. But Tops is just something you need to have in your locker.
And if he doesn't find this double 10, then Gawlas was back for the match. But we head the distance in this 9th game of the evening.
Final, I got him to through first.
Game which saw Gawlas lead 3-0, leading 3-0 in the space of 41 darts. It was a real power-packed surge at the beginning of the game. But that power has deserted him, and Coates has been able to mop up to take us to a last leg decider. A last leg which would see Adam Gawlas move on to 6 points if he can get to the double first, and Henry Coates on to 4 points if he can find the double first.
It's a really interesting point you just made, Henry, about the spurt from Gawlas.
95.
It was 41 darts for the first 3 legs, but then Coates did his 3 in 51. It took him 10 more darts to get those 3 consecutive legs. Which means that obviously Gawlas has not maintained the early standard. But maybe he's just been woken up, because that is 5 trebles from 6 darts to start this last leg.
Well, considering how under the
45.
pump he's been, you've got to give him a bit of credit for this little spell in this last leg. And he has 6 darts, probably more than that if the truth be told, from 181 to complete a win, which would put him on to 6 points. And because of the legs difference, it would still mean that Manby v Thomas would be for top spot overnight, but the loser would find themselves 3rd.
I don't know if you caught
59.
the expression of Coates just now. It's one of his mum's just said, I want you to go to the shop to get me a loaf of bread. You're going to go on my bike, which has only got 1 gear, up the hill.
122.
He pedals all the way to the top of the hill thinking, oh, I've done it. And then the baker says, actually, I've got none left.
Well, Gawlas doesn't have to chase this particular finish, doesn't have to go treble 18 ball. Will persevere for the 18 to leave himself on tops upon his return. Single 10 found, tops after 12,
82.
Textbook last leg on throw.
And based on how he's played in this game, at times, he could make
95.
this final leg
Undercar 40.
look like bread and butter.
Well, Coates could be toast in a couple of moments' time. Coates may have to get his coat in a couple of moments' time, because Gawlas is staring at tops. He's got a beautiful guide. And follows it in. It's a 14-darter. The legs he did win in that game, Adam Gawlas, were impressive. 15, 15, 11, 14. And he's on to 6 points overnight. And it's a bit of a relief on his face. He did lose his opener. And at that point, we thought there may well be some cause for concern. But he's rallied back well. And he's put himself right in contention. Henry Coates had 5-1-80s in that game. It still wasn't good enough. Gawlas a 4-3 winner. Thomas and Manby ends the night. The winner will be top of the table. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Final game of the night is a meeting between Martin Thomas and Charlie Manby. The winner of this particular contest will find themselves at the top of the group going into tomorrow evening's action. Now, the darts doesn't finish just because the live action does here on Pluto TV, because if you are fancying darts deep into the wee hours and into the beginning of tomorrow morning, because why wouldn't you want more darts after 25 games? Well, there is darts for you. You can watch darts on the ADC Global Championship. It's the final of week 2, so you can watch the full session replay of that. And that will be with you on Pluto TV. And I'm very specific with the timings on this one. It's with you from 1:57 a.m. until 6:13 a.m.
59.
So if you fancy some ADC Global Championship darts, then you know exactly where to go to.
60.
So what's on after that? Because that's about the time I wake up in the morning to come back here.
I can tell you that, well, this would be worth waking up for. The best of Richie Burnett.
100.
Followed by a tungsten talk with Lisa Ashton, followed by a tungsten talk with Martin Adams, and then
59.
we head into the vault, which is the finals night of Women's Week 2. That is between, specifically speaking, 07:53 and 12:09. Would you like to know what's happening from? Well, I would say what's happening from 12:09, but I haven't got the
95.
information available.
We know what's happening from 1 o'clock because we're going to be here. As in
39.
me and Devon Peterson.
You can if you like, but I won't be there. You never watched the In-Betweeners, did you?
80.
What's happening here? Is there a darting poltergeist on the stage? We've had 2 rejected darts already.
43.
Whoever wins this game will be the player of the first night.
142.
And that could be Martin Thomas after he decided to go for the 167. Can you blame him?
140. Mario Kart 25.
Okay, so it's 25.
$17. Charlie
Not done this time.
160.
And that's not going to be hit either. There is a real risk that Manby
60.
could have started the
Mario
night
Kart 8.
flawlessly. I could still walk away with only 4 points.
We did mention that, didn't we, midway through the evening, that as good as the first half has been, things can go
No
awry.
score.
Well,
Charlie
they
O'Connor,
weren't
100.
badly thrown darts. They just didn't find the target. And if anybody has been culpable or capable of a ton finish this year, it's been Charlie Manby. He goes top tops, he gets
Finish on
top
the first
tops.
leg, Charlie Manby.
And to be honest, there was a feeling that was never in doubt.
Second
That
leg,
is
Charlie
ton
through
plus
first.
checkout, number 4 of the evening.
Game on.
How many for the week, though? He is well into double figures now.
That is ton plus checkout, number 11.
140.
So he is into double figures. I thought it was more for some reason. It just feels like he's hit more.
It's because he had that 6 on Tuesday. You'd expect there maybe to be a little bit more around the sides on Monday and Wednesday.
123.
I don't know why it is, but when you hit 100 checkout with 2 double tops, it feels better than hitting it with just 60 in tops.
49.
Just more aesthetically pleasing, isn't it?
$56.
Yeah, 2 things happened in that first leg. Manby stole it with brilliance. And Thomas gave him that chance, which means he's feeling a little bit
145.
flat right now. Oh, look at that from Charlie once again. 145 to leave a finish. That's so smart.
140. Charlie Car
He
167.
knows all the tricks.
Do you remember what me and you said on Monday morning? We said this
95.
week we're going to learn a lot about Charlie Manby. And I tell you what, the more we're finding out about him, the more I'm getting impressed by him.
He's not cruising through the week.
95. Charlie Car
Far
72.
from it. But he's playing well.
36. Mario Kart 87.
That was a bit different. Had a shot at the bull earlier.
62. Charlie O'Carr,
That's two
36.
shots at the centre. He's missed it both times, and he could be 2-0 down because of it.
Double 9 inside.
27. Mario Kart 25.
Martin Thomas had 6 starts to hold his throw in the opening leg. He's going to get a couple more opportunities here to break the throw in to level this game up.
Game
No
shown the
mistake
second
that
leg,
time on the
Martin
double
Thomas.
12. Takes it with his second dart.
Third leg Martin to
And
throw
that's
first.
a break your
Game on.
throw, one apiece.
Well, I'm sure that when Charlie took that first leg, he was thinking, now I can possibly win
56.
4-0. Well, that can't be done now.
One of them, Foxy.
4-0 scorelines have been pretty rare this week.
78.
Coates did get one against Dave Wawrzewski in Game 6, but that was a bit of a weird game.
44.
Do you subscribe to the fact that if you play in Group A, then
One of
Group
them,
B,
Foxy.
that maybe there is a slight disadvantage because of the turnaround from the Friday night to the Saturday night?
57.
I mean, I've always said I think if you can get out of Group C, it's the perfect storm because you play the afternoon and then you're done at a decent time. I can understand why you would say that because look,
122.
it's less preparation time, it's a late night. But then what I would also counter the argument with is it's you're playing at a time which is similar to that you've been used to for the days before. You're just
76.
pushing everything back a
Martin
couple of
O'Carr,
hours early, which I
105.
think the players would prefer anyway. 105 and 6 starts from here for Thomas, double top.
Game
Charlie
shown the third
Manby
leg,
went
Martin
back to the
Thomas.
drinks table expecting it to go. It does. 15 darter. And for Tomo,
Fourth
that's
leg,
his
Charlie to through
second
first.
Tom
Game
Plus
on.
checkout of the night.
Here's the difficulty for Charlie in this game. Not only is Martin Thomas playing pretty well,
One of them, Foxy.
but this is the game he's playing after playing Gawlas. He might be in a bit of a tornado right now. Imagine going from playing the slowest player of the week to one of the fastest.
134.
This is something we haven't really discussed as far as this week is concerned. The change in
46.
rhythms between the games that you play. He was actively trying to burn time at the back of the stage against the Czech player. And here,
60.
he might be thinking, I need a couple of extra seconds.
Wait, did you see him at the back of the stage? He was bopping around as if he was listening to his favourite track in his headphones at the bus stop.
100.
Maybe he's just trying to keep the energy going. A little bit of movement. Just trying to keep his positivity up because he is behind.
99.
Well, I have heard of a player whose name will remain nameless, who's
97.
said in the past that to deal with the pace of a player, they would listen to their favourite song and in their head they would recount some of the lyrics of their favourite song just to move across a bit of the time.
125. Charlie O'Carr, 118.
Said player will forever remain nameless.
He didn't go 48 bull again. So he's not 100%
Manby,
perfect
83.
in the tactics. He's pretty close. Oh, he's not left the bull. That's a big mistake, Martin. You know it is.
58.
Presented it
Charlie
on a
O'Carr,
platter
32.
for Manby. For 2 apiece. But is he going to be midnight snacking?
Game shown the
Well, he's
fourth
definitely
leg,
not
Charlie
midnight
Manby.
slacking, is he? 2-2.
Fifth leg Martin to throw first.
By the way,
Game on.
last game of the night, I need to give you the answer to the tungsten teaser. It's about 9 darters and players who've had 9 darters hit
60.
against them. Congratulations if you got these answers at home. Adam Smith-Neal, Alan Norris, Luke Littler, Scott
60.
Taylor, Adam Lipscomb, Anton Ersland, Martin Thomas, Jeffrey de Graaf, Andreas Toff Jorgensen, Michael Burgoyne, Pontus Danielson,
96.
David Evans, Chaz Barstow, David Wawrzewski, Johan Brouwer, Jason Heaver and Johan Geldenhuys have all had 9 darters
100.
hit against them in this building. If you got that at home, give yourself a pat on the back.
100.
That would be a good prize, actually. If we get a small, sticky picture of Patrick van den
97.
Bogaard, we can actually give you a sticker and put it on your back, and it'll be a pat on the back.
No. I know that's how you say his name properly, but there's only one way you can say his name.
60.
We're not going to give someone a Bogaard on their back.
Bogaard.
We've got the right guy here for it.
100.
Do you really want me to do it? It is after 12.
Please, it's after 1.
And our favourite Yorkshire person, Scary Spice. Her
83.
roommate was
Charlie car 144.
Patsy Kensett. Ah, Pat.
56. Martin car 102.
Who takes the lead and how? Oh, double 11. Yeah, that'll get it done.
Like Martin Thomas.
Creation from Martin C. Thomas.
6 leg Charlie to through first.
Well, we've spoken about the Tub Plus checkouts that Charlie Manby's had tonight, but he's also been hit by a couple of haymakers over the course of the evening. That's 2 for Martin Thomas in this one.
140.
Got hit by Gawlas's 93, which included 11 darter. There's been a few occasions this evening where he's had to deal with adversity. He must be thinking, how am I playing this well this week? Yet not getting the
90.
results that most others are getting.
We might approach the halfway point of Friday night in this group and still
60.
be none the wiser. If Thomas wins this game, Manby wins the first game Friday night, or vice versa. There's 2 players on 6 with Gawlas. If Coates beats
59.
Gawlas in game 2, that's 4 players on 6 points. Well, very close to it anyway.
100.
Anything's possible in this group.
$85. 92.
Well, Manby's left himself on 109 to take us all the way to a last leg decider.
97.
Thomas consequently
Car 109.
needs himself on the big fish to win it.
Double 16.
77.
Are we going to
Martin
see the
Car
biggest finish of all
170.
with the last 3 darts?
Well, for a moment, Charlie Manby looked away because it would have been endemic of his night and
56.
endemic of his week
Charlie
if
Car
that particular
32.
big fish was to be reeled in.
You noticed how much he's juggling his darts at the back of the stage here, Manby?
28.
He may be juggling the
Martin
fact that
Car
he's
140.
losing the game 4-2 with a consecutive, well, 2 consecutive ton plus finishes.
Not on this occasion.
74.
And so Manby
Charlie
will
Car
return.
4.
2 2s for 3-3. The Desmond double for a
Being shown the
deciding
6
leg.
Charlie Manby.
Well, here we go then. To
7
the
final leg Martin
last.
to through first. Game on.
He's got just enough water left.
For who will be sipping from the cup of success? And who
140.
is going to be top of the table?
I once said that our late friend Kyle Anderson used to sip from the glass
97.
of brilliant darts juice. Who's going to be sipping from that cup? It looks like it's going to be Thomas.
180.
Give that man some juice.
Manby can only hit back with a max and hope, really.
140.
The 140 is okay, but it doesn't really pass significant pressure on.
Oh, that's
145.
majestic. Look at that. 36 after 9. He could finish the night with a 10.
100. Modus car 36.
Maybe saving the best for very last. A 10
shot of the match, Martin
darter
Thomas.
for Martin Thomas in a last leg decider on throw. The only way Charlie Manby could have won that last leg was by hitting a 9 darter. A beautiful warm embrace between the pair at the end of what was a titanic tussle. At times at the beginning it was a little bit attritional, but Martin Thomas coming up clutch, coming up with a 10 darter in the deciding leg. And it means that he is going to be top of the table going into Friday's action here in the Live Lounge. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we've completed the night's action in Group B. This is how the second half of the evening has gone. And before the break, we saw Martin Thomas get the better of Charlie Manby in a last leg decider. It means that he is at the top of the table going into Friday's play. It's going to be Martin Thomas at the summit. Charlie Manby won his first 2 games by 4 legs to 1, but lost his last 2. Finds himself in third position. And it's Adam Gawlas, the middle player, in amongst that qualification mix. For Henry Coates, well, he played some decent stuff tonight, but could only pick up 1 win. Him and Dave Wawrzewski have got it all to do, work to do for the pair when it comes to Friday night's action. We've been watching all of the darts tonight in the company of the asset, the former Players Champion, Paul Nicholson. Look, let's begin with Martin Thomas, who I suppose was kind of the player, I wouldn't say written off, but the player that no one was really talking about going into tonight's play. But he's the one who's top of the lot.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think we were talking a lot about Adam and what happened after Group A. We were talking about the exciting Henry Coates and obviously Charlie about what he could potentially do. But Martin Thomas doing some tremendous things tonight, some great finishing as well. And a numerous amount of very important shots. And obviously finishing with a 10 darter, he's going to be swimming in confidence when he plays against Charlie once again come 10 o'clock tonight.
In terms of Adam Gawlas, now he lost his first game. At that point, we were wondering, has Group A kind of hung over into Group B? But credit goes where credit's due. He's reacted very well to the despondency of yesterday. He's won 3 from his 4 games, and he's in a very good position now to make it through.
Yeah, everybody's still in this table. I think we need to emphasise that. But if you've got 6 points instead of, say, 4 or 2, you're in with a better chance of making Saturday night. Now, Adam didn't have a great start, but he seemed to kick in against Charlie Manby. And he's played some superb stuff against him this week. That leg there, that 11 darter, it confirmed that he was in better touch late going into the midnight hour. So really good to see him bouncing back, because I was getting quite worried about his confidence after his first game tonight.
Do you remember a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about Sam Spivey, about how well he was playing, but yet it wasn't working out for him? At this present moment in time, is there a similar feel about Charlie Manby?
Yeah, it is a little bit mystifying, isn't it? Because you look at the first 2 games he played tonight, and he was flawless on the doubles in his first match. He looked superb in his second game, And you're thinking at this point, nobody wants to play him the way he's finding doubles with almost a blindfold on. He could hit anything he wants. But then he comes up against Gawlas and things just start to unravel a little bit. Now, we can speculate that maybe that fixture doesn't suit him. But it just goes to show that people really see him as a target. They think he's a scalp because of some of the darts that he's played over the last 4 to 6 weeks. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult for him to get through this group, but he'll feel better if it's hard instead of a canter.
So is it almost a case of he can just get through to Saturday, the knockout element actually could play into his hands a bit more?
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes you come in with expectation like Charlie has, and I think he did really well to get into Group B in the end. But tonight, you just get the feeling that maybe people were targeting him towards the late hours, and they got just enough of a chunk out of him. But still, third position after a great start and a really tough ending, so it could be a lot worse.
In terms of Henry Coates, doubling let him down tonight, didn't it?
Yeah, I haven't seen the exact percentage, but it's going to be pretty low. I know that in his first couple of games, he was 2 from 20. That's only 10%. And in his last match, he did miss a lot of darts at double as well against Adam. So that's going to have to be a lot more polished. And I hate to say it, but it's going to have to be polished from the very first leg against Adam around about 10:30 on Friday night.
Just very quickly, word on David.
It's going to be tough for him. He looked like he was behind the pace a little bit. Just come out with a bit of a fresh attitude. He might be able to sneak third position, but I don't see him doing any better than that.
Well, this is how the tournament bracket looks then, going into the final day of the week. Neil Duff won Group A on Wednesday afternoon. Group C is going to be what we'll be watching tomorrow. Ronan McDonough is in charge of proceedings there, but he has got a couple of players close to him, Kieran T and Darren Johnson and Peter Achu. They're all on 6 points going into Friday's play. Jonathan Platt and even Springboard Paulson. You get the sense have got it all to do. That's what we're going to be watching tomorrow afternoon. Well, Nico, it's been great fun being in your company over the course of the last, 13 hours or so. I'm going to enjoy a day off. You enjoy some more darts, and there's plenty coming up across Pluto TV. So coming up once we're done here, the Double Trouble Challenge, which features Connor Scutt and Lisa Ashton, amongst many others. And following that, we also have some ADC Global Championship darts for you. So if you fancy watching the darts up until the early hours, you can do exactly that. Then we'll be back with the culmination of Group C. That's tomorrow afternoon from 1 o'clock. Saturday night will be finals night, and that will signal the halfway point of Series 11. And it's a stacked Champions Week lineup so far. You've got the likes of Jess Smith, Scott Taylor, John O'Shea, Shane McGurk and Andy Hamilton all in the mix. We'll find out who's going to join them Saturday from 7:30. And then we're going to break up the action on Monday when Women's Week 4 gets underway. Gemma Hayter is going to be amongst the big names in action for that as she prepares herself for the World Match Play in Blackpool come the end of July. But as far as tonight is concerned, it was Martin C. Thomas who was top of the class. It was an A-star performance from him. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
What a finish! What a man!
The drum roll finishes, and the target is
And it comes on finals night, and it's a knockout.
Dirty Harrison! Van Velzen!
54. Charlie McGuire, 164. 44. 32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls of this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score, leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side.
60.
To become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts, but he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation.